Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the the show.
That was amazing. Screaming guitars. Do 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 do. Someone's phone. That was awesome. Well played. Hey, TCG's here.
How you doing, Bear? How you doing?
It's Canadian Thanksgiving. I'm fine.
All right.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I know it was yesterday, right?
No, it's today.
Today? Oh, okay. Our friend Off Grid, he was in my game last night and he was already turkeyed out. So I
Oh
just,
yeah, no, a
hey,
lot of
nerd.
on Sunday, but Monday's the holiday. We have the holiday off on Monday.
So, bonus.
Yeah.
Hey, nerds, you made it here for the opening this time. Glad to see you. I assume Raven will be here in like 45 minutes. So,
Weren't you on the phone with her like an hour ago, like discussing the topics, like
yeah, we
preparing?
were. Yeah, but she had to shower and all that girl stuff. And
Okay.
what's up, crafting? So where did we leave off?
Somewhere in hell, I'm sure.
I think we left off at the. Did we leave off at Cave Dweller Holocaust or Trilateral Commission?
I don't
I think
remember the trilateral part.
I do. I think we all just agree that yes, the Trilateral Commission exists. Yes. Yes.
What's up, Mobius?
Did we move on to Dolphin Intelligence?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Okay, then that's where we start. That's where we start.
All right.
What's the conspiracy?
So yeah, well,
Just the idea that there's certain groups that think that dolphins are actually super smart, just like us, and that it's all a big conspiracy to hide it so that we can pretend to be the smart ones on Earth, when in actuality, a bunch of other species, like dolphins, are actually just as smart and stuff. And that they're
Yeah.
like only held back by water or something.
Do you know who doesn't believe this? Marine biologists. In fact, marine biologists are constantly warning people to stop fucking around with dolphins and whales thinking they're super gentle, intelligent creatures, because they're not. And this came up when there was that whole thing of birthing with dolphins in Florida, where they were taking women into water where there were dolphin pools and having them give birth there. And these marine biologists are like, are you fucking insane? All it's going to take is one bull to see that baby as a threat, and you're going to be under attack. Like, are you stupid? People are idiots, man.
They are dumb.
yeah. Raven and I were discussing actually plant intelligence, and I was explaining to her if they don't make anything, they don't have a written language, they're not intelligent. Humans are intelligent. Everything else is everything else.
Oh, my cat's pretty smart.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah, but
animals that are about as smart as like human children.
I'm fucking with you.
yeah, no. My dog's smart too. But he can never, he can never make anything except more dogs and piles in the backyard, and occasionally a mess. For all their supposed intelligence, what are they doing with it? Mind you, if I come back as a dog, I won't regret it because I'll finally catch up on my sleep. But they don't do anything with that intelligence they supposedly have, so it's kind of a moot point, isn't it?
My cat isn't smart enough to figure out that if he doesn't stop what the fuck he's doing, I'm going to murder him.
I'm crazy loud.
You are. You're really hot. Your
Okay.
mic is really hot. You're mediocre. But anyway, Raven's on Facebook. I see her.
How about now? Am I still roaring loud?
You got distortion on your mic, but you're fine.
Okay.
I'll lower you, I guess, if that's necessary.
Beats. I swear to
I
fuck.
can just raise myself.
They won't.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Oh, Raven.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's
How you
Raven.
doing?
Oh my God.
Hi. What? What's the
Nothing
matter,
to say.
Bear?
What?
What'd you say?
I said, oh my God, it's Raven.
Oh my God, it's Bear. How you doing?
Well, yes, but we had no. It's not 9:10 and you're here. It's shocking.
I know. I'm an informed late person. No, I just didn't have the usual chaos today that I normally have to deal with, so I was able to be
So
on time.
he sat around for an extra 6 minutes going, wait for it, wait, wait
and
for
and
it.
my technology tonight is working, so that's usually why I'm late.
Have the stars aligned with the ley lines? Did it like undo the
Yes,
effect?
correct. You are Captain
So
Jack.
I'm
Correct.
working on my fantasy role playing game right now, and I got to the point I was working on Magic all this weekend, and I got to the point where I was talking about ley line anchors, and I was just like, my God, what has Raven done to me? Writing about ley line anchors. What the
That
fuck?
reminds me, I found a great video for you about the ley lines. I got
No, I'm not
yes,
watching it.
yes.
Stop sending me your woo woo videos. I don't want to see them.
Welcome to the show, Doc. Off grid, how you guys doing?
Hey, how come my picture is vertical and yours are horizontal?
So at the bottom of your no, don't do this. No, no,
He almost fell into that trap.
stop.
How do I
We are
do
not
that?
tech support. None of us have
I
the
don't
right
do tech
accent.
support for woo woo. Cast a spell and it'll be fine. Burn some sage, draw a pentagram, do whatever you got to do.
Okay. No, really, how do you do it?
Really, I don't know.
Probably the camera is just shaped that way.
Should I just turn my whole tablet sideways? Will that, and then it'll correct?
It
Yeah,
might.
that's good.
You
Yeah.
want?
Watch as she disconnects. This should be fun. Now the problem is what kind of tablet do you have? Android or iPad?
Android.
So you got to bring up your settings or you drag down your menu and turn off the auto rotation because I got screen lock on right now to be stuck in portrait mode. So you got to. I'm always terrified to have you touch anything and
I
touch.
know, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better, so we'll try it. Okay, so settings in Chrome, my web browser.
No,
Settings
Raven.
in this one in Restream.
No.
Talk to start laying on your side.
Everyone, pay attention as I show you my 15 years of tech support. Raven,
Okay.
right at the top of the screen, you're going to see there's a little thing you can pull down. It's going to open up the settings on your tablet. So if you could just
Yeah.
reach to the top of your screen and scroll down, you should see a whole bunch of selections. Let me know when you see that, please.
Well, that's what I said. Like in Chrome, you're waiting for the tablet.
Chrome is the browser. The tablet runs on something else. It's okay. It's called Android. But that's all right. Do you see the little setting? It's called screen lock. It looks like a rotational thing. Maybe it's got an arrow. I don't know.
Okay.
She's frozen, so that's worked out well.
Let's see here. Toolbar
Good
accessibility.
sign or a bad sign, I think.
I'm going to have to click on something else because we've got downloads, languages, site settings. Is that maybe what I need to click on? Accessibility, toolbar, homepage.
No. What you should be able to do, Raven, is you're in your settings. I want you to go ahead and close your settings, please.
Okay.
And now I want you to find the quick menu where you just pull down from the top of the screen and it gives you a bunch of buttons you can mess around with. Listen, I'm dealing with one person with black hair who's annoying. Don't you start. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to turn the world 45 degrees to the left, and that should work out well for you.
Okay, I dropped it. I dropped down. So what am I looking for now?
Okay, I'm just going to go get my Android tablet, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't see anything that says media output device control. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty standard, folks. Kind of got to get used to it.
And that's why I always recommend people who are non-tech savvy get Apple product.
I'm getting better.
It's designed for you. I haven't used this thing in a while.
Hey, nerdy.
Well, it'll turn on. That's a good sign.
Yeah, you're no help. Get down. Stop. Mm.
It's
There
gonna
she
blow.
goes. Well, it's starting. It's been turned off for about 4 months
Oh.
Sorry.
on an iPad now. I don't want to use this Galaxy piece of shit anymore.
Did we do Jekyll Island?
Nope. The
Did we
Beast from
do-
Jekyll
Okay.
Isle has not been touched,
Okay.
As
but
far
we
as
all
I
know it's
can,
true.
as far as I can tell, we ended with the well, we were talking about Klaus Schwab,
Try
and
that.
Yeah,
We
we
ended
went
with the
through
that was a
trilateral.
trilateral commission. Yeah.
we went through dolphin intelligence.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
We
wait.
did. We
We
did.
Well,
did.
you weren't.
No,
You
we
weren't
didn't.
there.
Let's see if Raven has anything to say about dolphin intelligence.
I do.
Of
I
course you
do.
do. Of course you do.
I've got even more to say about plant intelligence. No. Get out of the way, please. Yeah.
Is anybody surprised?
And I did a quick deep dive into that right before the show here. All about Cleve Baxter and his experiments showing a consciousness field. Well, I'll wait. I'll get to it. I'll wait. Okay.
Well, I'm still. We might as well talk because I'm still waiting for this thing to start.
Okay.
You're,
So
you're
like
lucky it has power, to be honest.
Well, I've
the,
plugged it into my charger to give it more power.
Okay.
there are like at the bottom of the screen, there's like your microphone symbol, the camera symbol, and then there's one that has the three little dots. If I press that, will that take me somewhere where I can?
So here's this thing I can't do. I can't visualize what you're talking about because of your overly detailed description of there's a mic, there's a camera phone, and three little dots.
Yeah.
That could mean anything. It could be in your browser. It could be anything. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm just going to
Okay.
wait till this. So why don't you tell us all about dolphin intelligence while I'm waiting for this to start?
Okay. Well, I'll let Jack begin.
Well, we've already discussed it. We just want your opinion now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they do believe that dolphins have their own language and can learn and have learned English words as well. They're highly intelligent. Um, and that's really about all I.
So do you believe that they are as intelligent as humans, or even more so?
I would say they would be close, but in a different way. We're not going to find them, creating factories and building, blenders or whatever. But they have a sonar. They have. They also have some type of a psychic gift because they've been using them a lot in Florida to work with children that have autism, and it seems to be a very healing and helpful uh, thing. They've got their own kind of magical juju. They're very spiritual.
Dolphins are spiritual.
Yeah, and they've been a symbol of a high spirituality throughout the
Raven,
ages. Okay, yes,
can you see my screen, Raven?
no.
Okay, I'm about to show you. Okay.
Okay, yep. Okay,
We're going to go back to the main desktop of the tablet. Okay.
okay,
And with the finger from the top, I'm going to pull down.
okay.
And it's all of these options.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you see all of those options, you're going to see one that says, hang on, Smart View. And it's going to have two arrows rotating.
Okay.
Make sure it's not turned on.
Okay. All right, I can do that.
And then when you turn your tablet sideways, it's going to rotate for you.
Okay. It used to do that, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
Well,
Okay, so now.
through a hell of a thing.
Okay.
That's probably because one of the cats stepped on it.
Ah, well, there she is. She's gone.
Well, she's gone.
The cat gods became angered with her. Or was it the dolphin gods?
The dolphin gods. They said, "Ee, ee."
Yeah.
No, you don't speak Dolphinese. It's their own language, don't you know?
Off grid, real quick. The thing you said earlier, that's more or less verbatim what it says on the the iceberg chart. There are varying levels, and we're at tier 4. And as you go deeper, you become more and more open to the things that are right in our face, but we completely, most of us just walk on by and don't care about it. But after you get to a certain point, you can't turn it off.
Can't turn what off?
Your awareness of the shenanigans that are going on around us.
My awareness of love.
There you go. Most people just don't want to know. They don't have the capacity to deal with some of the subjects we're talking about. They just want to, Netflix and chill, go to work, wake up, and repeat. They don't want to know anything else. No, it's because there's a chart called the such and such iceberg that has various tiers. At the top are the most commonly known things like UFOs and Bigfoot, and as you go deeper and deeper and under the water, you discover more and more ideas that are controversial, to say the least. Yeah, yeah, we kind of need those they live shades. Although some of us, as we go deeper and deeper, we don't need the glasses anymore. Jackie needs to see that movie, don't you think, Bear?
He's never seen They Live?
Nope.
So there's a scene in They Live where a fight goes on for far too long, but it's really, really good. And when they asked John Carpenter why he did the fight so long, he says it's the 80s, the Reagan years. You have to beat someone's head against the wall for 20 minutes to get them to see your point of view. It's a great movie. Not a good movie, a great movie. Not my favorite Carpenter film, but in the top 5.
Do we move on to the next
Move
one?
on to the next one. Yeah, might as well. She can always catch up.
Okay, the next one is the Kentucky meat shower, or specifically just meat showers, but this is the most famous
Sorry,
one.
what?
Yeah, so in 1876, in March, randomly meat started falling from the sky in Kentucky, specifically Bath County, Kentucky.
Thanks, Dr.
People were like, they landed on the ground, and some people decided to eat it. And of the different people who were eating the meat, or just studying the meat, it said that it was either beef, makes sense, lamb, deer, makes sense, bear, it, bear meat, horse meat, or human meat.
Well, if Kentucky,
Yeah, no, it is Kentucky.
they'd know.
I'm disappointed there was no pork.
No, no one suggested pork. Which is weird. You think if they thought human, they'd think pork first, because the whole pork and
Long pig.
so you're very similar. Yeah. But yeah, just for a whole day. Apparently, Charles Fort had something to do with this. He wrote about it.
Who eats sky meat? I was thinking the same thing, Mobius. Who eats sky meat?
Who eats? People in Kentucky eat sky meat. That's
Yes, no. You know what bothers me about this story is
Actually, wait,
when
hold on.
was
I have
it?
to go real quick. It was in Kentucky.
in the 1800s, right?
1876.
There you go.
Then they had cameras.
Did they have cameras?
Not good ones.
They existed, but not in the way you're implying.
I just want to see like a black and white photograph of just like an open field, just covered in T-bone steak.
Oh, by the way, I gotta go real quick. Discuss Kentucky meat while I.
You don't want to
Yeah,
discuss Kentucky meat. You discuss Kentucky meat.
yeah, I'm not buying it. It sounds like
No, it 100% happened.
it happened.
Yes, it happened.
How do they know it happened?
Because there were several reports, studies. There were, I think even Charles Fort wrote about it. It's like a documented thing. The theory is just why. The leading theory is that a bunch of vultures flew over and decided to throw up on the town.
So they weren't just eating sky meat; they were eating pre-digested sky meat, already been chewed sky meat.
What the hell happened to my document?
Yeah, I mean, how many freaking vultures were there? You know, to make this such a thing, unless it was just like one town.
Vultures.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd be more inclined to believe, some sort of butcher shop just blew up and, what goes up has to come down kind of thing.
No. Whatever goes down sometimes comes up.
Yeah, not touching that one.
Dang.
First says he had almost sky meat tonight. Chickens flap, but they don't quite make it into the sky, do they? Yeah. Let's just if it was, chewed up vulture stuff, um, would you really want to cook it up and eat it? If it looked like what we would probably imagine it looked like? I mean, if ham steaks started falling out of the sky, I might be tempted to, wash one off and cook it up. But if it's got teeth marks and stuff in it, probably not.
Wait. Did you just say if ham steaks fell out of the sky, you might be tempted to wash it off and cook it up?
Yes, I did.
You need help.
Well, I had ham steaks for dinner, or part of a ham steak for dinner. There's Raven. So I could. I mean, it's recognizable as a cut of meat. You know what I mean? Or like a T-bone. Maybe it fell out of an airplane or something.
Raven, did nothing work?
Nope. It didn't look the same as what it showed on your computer either.
I don't know what to tell you, sweetie.
So I'll just try it some other time. I'll just
deal with it.
Look at you like this.
We just have to focus on you harder.
I had to do something similar to that to the laptop this last weekend. The cat's laid on it, and when I woke up, everything was sideways on my screen, and trying to work the mouse was really weird too. So I had to take the whole computer and turn it on its side, and then go through and try to figure out how to split the orientation.
The orientation of your computer is trans.
It's trans.
From one. No? All right. Apparently, my amazing English joke failed, but that's okay.
Raven's back. Hooray! But now Jackie's gone. I had a routed grouse fly into my car and break its neck on my rear windshield. I clipped my ear on the way by. I was supposed to have my father with me. Thankfully not. He would have had 110 kilometer per hour stroke.
Wow.
Oh, routed in the head. Yeah, ouch. Yeah, that does not sound pleasant at all.
No.
Cool. So back to dolphins being intelligent. Now that Raven's back.
Yes. Well, anyway, that's really all I had to say about it. That they're intelligent. They have some type of an extraordinary gift that they're able to help these handicapped people and the kids that are in the autistic spectrum. We got something going. But like I said, we're not going to find them. They're not, built for, making factories and cities and having, the same type of intellect that we do. But I think that they are intelligent in a different way.
Okay.
Okay, where's our host?
I don't know. Get my papers over here. Okay, so what were you guys up to the meat showers?
Sky meat, yeah, meat showers.
That is really gross. I watched the thing on that. This one town, I think it was Pennsylvania, had 3 rainstorms within a couple weeks, and everything was covered in this goo. And when they took it to the lab and had it analyzed, they were human cells, skin cells or something like that. Some kind of anyway, they were human cells, and nobody can explain. It's still a mystery to this day as to what happened or how that happened. It literally rained human skin cells. So I don't know. Weird. It was a slimy, and the whole town was covered in it. And now it hasn't happened again, but in that short amount of time, it happened 3 times. Is that what this is pertaining to? This is one I didn't get to look up.
This was something in Kentucky in the 1800s where meat was falling from the sky.
Literally, like already cut from the animal, and like you just got ribeye steaks falling from.
Yes and no-ish. Not quite like I was saying the same thing. Ham steaks or T-bones. It was more like probably smaller pieces. Jackie said that the widest prevailing theory was it was regurgitated vulture dinner.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think they may have got him. Crapping.
I think he had to go poo.
Probably he did have a big dinner. Off-grid says yes, it could be from a biolab that got sucked into a storm cell and recombined and fell to Earth.
That sounds insane, but I love it.
Maybe the newer incidents, but the one in the 1800s, they didn't have such things as a biolab. They, might have had a butcher shop somewhere, and if he got hit by a twister, maybe, but
Eddie M, it's a twister. But yeah, that makes sense.
My mouth.
Maybe a slaughterhouse got hit, right?
Yeah, it would have to be something that mundane.
It would anything else be something that mundane. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Or alternately, aliens went vegan and had to throw out all the meat because they were really worried that if it was around, they'd be tempted to eat it. I do that when I'm going on a low carb sort of keto thing, so I had to throw out all my carbs because otherwise they're hanging around and you might eat them, right? So the aliens were like, "Oh my god, I want to go vegan, but there's so much meat in the spaceship. What can we do? We'll just throw it out the window." And they threw it all out the window, and the Kentuckians ate it and thought it was. Or a water spout or a twister hit something that was carrying a lot of meat or containing a lot of meat, threw it up in the air, and it came down over the town. Which one do you think sounds more likely?
Who are you asking?
Everyone.
Sorry. The ship carried food stuck into a storm chamber.
Clearly, this is an upper crust Irish vessel you're speaking of there. You'll be wanting to know. Steaks and potatoes. Well, this is fun when Jackie vanishes.
Yeah, would Raven happen to know the next one on the list?
Yes, I do. Uh,
Let's just move on without him.
Himalayan zombies.
Himalayan zombies. I used to make that when I was a bartender. It's half an ounce of vodka. Usually, you want to use something nice like a Smirnoff. Give it a nice little taste, because it's vodka. It doesn't taste like anything. So you want to have that. So half an ounce of vodka. What was the rest of a Himalayan zombie? Pink Himalayan salt, and then you top it up with peach schnapps. There you go. Great drink. Shoot it. It's awesome. The fuck are Himalayan zombies?
And Raven's frozen. Is this the Friday the 13th or what, Bear?
It's one of those days, buddy.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
We can now?
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah, what's
All
a
right,
Himalayan zombie?
Okay, it comes from
20
Tibet.
bucks.
They're creatures from Tibetan folklore that are called these rolangs. Excuse me, rolangs.
Rolling.
They are said to be similar to the zombies that we know about. These creatures live in the mysterious heights of the Himalayas.
That's all we got?
Yeah.
That's pretty lame.
They're called rolangs. Ro is the word for corpse in their native tongue. And langs means to rise up. Let me see if I can find some more here. My computer mouse stopped
So
working.
the conspiracy is that they just exist and they're a real thing?
I can't scroll with this is so frustrating. I cannot scroll on my computer without my mouse, and my mouse stopped working for some reason. I don't know why. And this is really
No,
frustrating.
that tends to happen when you douse it in wine.
Box wine, auntie.
Okay.
Lorang, Tibetan, is a zombie-like creature from Tibetan folklore. Ro is the word for corpse, and Langs is the perfect tense of to rise up. So, risen corpse, usually created by a Gadon spirit or sorcerer. Thanks, Bert. I'm going to say you see all kinds of shit when you're drinking. It's I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it either.
Well, what was that anthropologist, Wade Ames, I think his name is, who did a study on the whole zombie thing. He was down, not in his bed, he went down to the Caribbean to find out if zombies were real and how they were made and so forth.
Hey.
And,
but Serpent and the Rainbow?
Yeah, oh god, that movie's terrifying. For just one scene.
Yeah, the chair.
only guys are terrified of it, of course. But yeah.
Stays with you.
Yep. I never had the urge to watch that one again for some strange reason.
Funny, eh?
What's that?
Okay, Himalayan zombies. Exploration.
Himalayan zombies. We're done with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's your show. You want to add something to it?
Do I want to add something to the Kentucky Beach shower?
No, the zombies.
Oh yeah. Something happened there. I don't know.
Go hit your seat and let's go.
Okay.
Is he doing that Generation Z thing where they got bored of their own project and they're moving on to something else now?
I think he just needed to use the restroom or something. It doesn't make sense because there's a restroom literally like 8 feet away. 12 feet away, but still. Maybe you need water.
I have returned. It's all good.
You okay?
Yeah.
Did you get a text from a lady friend? Is that what you were off talking to a lady friend?
Shut up. No.
I was right. Look at that.
So, Jackie, what's your take on the Himalayan zombies?
Um, Himalayan zombies. I've heard some stuff about it, but I always chalked it up to just like the sort of legends that are there. But at the same time, from what I've heard, most people in the area seem to be fairly convinced of that sort of thing. So maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, a virus. A team of scientists has discovered thousands of ancient zombie viruses, some up to 41,000 years old. This is from a news story in 2024 in September, so it's really recent. Um, Coming from the Himalayas, Himalayas, however you say it. Let me see what else this says here. Okay, so it is. There's something to this. Okay, um, the team consisted of 60 researchers from China and the U.S. Western Tibetan Plateau. These ice samples revealed more than 1,700 previously unknown viral genomes. The glacier, over 6,000 meters above sea level, has preserved these viruses, though through different eras. Um, okay, study published in Nature Geoscience revealed the viruses come from 9 different ancient periods. Using a specialized machine, scientists drilled a 10-centimeter wide core, more than 300 the ice. This um, there. So ads, and more ads. I'm scrolling through now, trying to get to the rest of the article. I hate that when they do this. Um, more ads, more ads. Okay, that's about it. There's just so many ads. I don't even know if there's anything more to this. So anyway, um, it doesn't really. Yeah, that's it. So they got previously unknown viruses that they have now recently discovered from these ice core samples.
Yeah, that's just asking for trouble. You ask me.
Yeah, yeah. Here. Okay. That's all. That's all I got for zombies. Oh, I was telling you about that Wade Ames. Um, anyway, there was a really toxic drink that they were using to make zombies from the blowfish. It's a puffer
Yeah,
fish sometimes called.
yeah, Zominol.
Yeah, and it would create a death-like appearance and a period of time where they would be like comatose, asleep, and in all appearances they would be dead because the heartbeat is so faint, can't see or hear them breathe or have a heartbeat. So you assume they're dead. And then after a certain amount of time, well, I think it's one full moon or whatever, then the zombie master digs them up, and they're like in a semi comatose. But
Highly suggestive state.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the FBI did a really good deep dive on voodoo and to look into all this stuff.
Hmm.
And they're doing a very, very deep dive. The final analysis was if you don't believe in voodoo, 99% of this shit won't work on you. And the Zwembe gas is the one you just described, is just chemical warfare, basically. And then
Ah,
the guy gets buried because he looks like he's dead. And then he wakes up and he crawls out of the grave. And now he's Zwembe. But because he's culturally programmed to believe the Hugan has done this to him, he follows their instructions. It's all brainwashing. The FBI did a lot of work on that one because they really, and I think the CIA did too, they really wanted to see if this was something they could use during the Cold War.
oh, I bet. Yeah, of course they want to weaponize
There
it.
was nothing better for disproving woo woo than the Cold War, and Americans having lots of money to spend on things they thought they could use against the Soviets.
Yeah, if it was real 100%, they would have done something with it. I mean, maybe they did and they haven't told us, but like, oh, I
Well, they found something better.
Yeah.
The internet.
fair. But that wasn't really around during most of the Cold War.
Are you sure about that?
Not in the way I think you're implying.
Maybe it's been around a lot longer than we think.
Could be.
No,
You
it
know,
If
couldn't
you want,
be.
you can either read The Serpent in the Rainbow or you can watch The Serpent in the Rainbow, but I would recommend reading it because the book goes into much more detail.
okay.
Just have a bag of ice to sit on.
Domo arigato,
Okay.
Mr. Roberto. What? So what's next, kids?
The next one, again, going past the philosophy concepts that don't really turn up later. If they do, we'll go over them, but it doesn't. Civil War sightings. Several people have seen or reported seeing ghosts and stuff from the Civil War. Stories of, well, there's a bunch of different ones to count. A lot of them probably, well, okay, depending on your, we'll go over that, but there isn't, you know what I'm talking about. There's no one example. People see, supposedly run into people from that died in the Civil War or stuff like that. The American Civil War, obviously, because apparently ghosts only exist in this country for some reason.
Oh no. England and Scotland are famous for some of their ghosts. Gettysburg is probably one of the most haunted places on the planet, and that's where a lot of the reports come from. And seeing Civil War, ghosts and so forth, and a lot of them appear to be solid, not see-through, but absolutely solid. People in bed and breakfast inns all over the place. Of course, meeting them in the hallway when they go to get a bucket of ice. Um, there's some film footage though that's very interesting, and it suggests that there are some uh, ghosts that probably don't know they're dead, but they are in the heat of battle. They've got their weapons drawn, and they're filming it, and they're coming out of the woods, coming across this field, and they see them like walk funny in this one area, like they're stepping over something, and there used to be, when they check later, but they walk over this towards them, and then they just one that kind of repeats this, just kind of goes around in a circle into the woods, out of the woods, back around again and again and again. And they're they they've studied this footage for accuracy of clothing, style of gun, make sure all of that is authentic for the time. And they can't debunk this. And it was before we had Photoshop. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
They feel that the cause of this is that because the Civil War was just so brother against brother, it was so traumatic to so many people, um, that it left an imprint. It doesn't seem to be they classify hauntings. Okay, this is not one that they would classify under a intelligent haunt. This one is like a moment stuck in time, and whether it's just a time loop or whether that ghost is somewhat semi-conscious and just reliving that day over and over and over again, not sure. They won't interact with anybody. They don't talk. They don't look at you. They're just doing their thing. And it could just be an imprint. And their ghosts aren't even there at all. It's just a skip in time, a glitch where you see them. But it's close to the big battlefield there in Gettysburg. Some ghosts will talk to you. They're absolutely aware of the fact that you are there. Others don't even see you. They're not. It's like a layering, like an onion. They're stuck in that layer of time, and they're not aware of any other, times on top of that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Okay, hello? Is anyone there?
I'm just
Does
I
shutting
was
that
my
waiting for.
make
I
any
was waiting
sense?
for.
wait. I'm
Hello?
shutting my mouth because you know what I'm gonna say.
Ghosts don't
I'm
exist.
gonna. I'm gonna play the part of Bear tonight and go. What Bo said. Reenactors. If I owned a bed and breakfast and my bed and breakfast wasn't doing so well, I would seriously consider uh, hiring reenactors to give my guests a little show.
Mm.
Not that kind of
Well,
show, folks.
these
Um,
Only
these
you
that
thought
I'm that I'm talking about
that.
on the battlefield area, those are kind of see through. But most of the ghosts that people encounter there in Gettysburg are solid, solid, just like you and I. That
That doesn't
that
really just prove what Shadwo said.
I mean, other than the see-through ghost, that could be, you know, I don't know, holograms or something, but that probably didn't exist and still kind of doesn't. So, movie projections, that sort of thing. Scooby Doo did it like every episode. Um, I think,
This whole thing is really just a Scooby Doo plot.
yeah, it's
I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
yeah. I
I
don't
was
buy it. I don't believe in
watching one of
ghosts.
these. I was watching one of these ghost hunter video type or Nuke's top five. Did you see it? And they saw a Civil War cavalryman or whatever walking across the street in front of them at night in the graveyard. Except there was a very nice glint of light off of his very real three-dimensional, this dimension bayonet as he walked across. You saw the light go right up the blade. So it was a three-dimensional, real-world object. It was not a ghost. It was some people fucking around with cameras trying to get some clout. But hey,
Unfortunately, as long as there are people doing that sort of thing, there, it's going to make believing any of that sort of thing very, very difficult, except for, folks who want to believe, I guess.
Saint Augustine, yeah, Saint Augustine is another one that's really, really haunted. That town's very, very old. I think it used to be the capital of Florida. And there's a
Wait,
haunted
Saint.
lighthouse there. I know. I've seen the ghost hunting shows. Is that what
Oh,
you're?
no, you're talking. Oh my gosh, never mind.
Huh? I was talking
Never
to
mind.
her in the chat.
No. I thought you were talking about the guy, not a town.
Oh,
The
oh,
actual
Saint
saint.
Augustine, the actual saint. Okay, no. But what about him? You
No,
tell.
it was well, no, it was just weird. You said Saint Augustine is haunted, and I was confused for a second.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right.
It's not your fault. So what's the next one?
The next one is not really a conspiracy theory, but I guess I get why it's on the list. Meet in real life cults. Um, Effectively, there are several groups online that form these weird little pseudo cults, but sometimes they become way more than just like cringy online communities, like whatever we have here. And sometimes they end up becoming like actual cults, and they meet in real life and do not good things. Usually, it's involving a lot of things with children, getting roped into this kind of stuff, and things like that.
Just pure degeneracy.
Yeah, not really a conspiracy, just a thing that happens that
just
people
an observation on the shittiness of Western civilization. Yeah.
pretty much. I guess this is an important part to mention, something I recently found out. This originally, when it was first posted, was not called the conspiracy theory iceberg. It was called something along the lines of the truth iceberg or like hidden truths and stuff like that. So, not things that are necessarily conspiracy theories, just the conspiracy theory is more a more appealing name. It catches more eyes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
But
Hidden
that's
truth.
what I pointed out, so that's what we'll talk about.
Hi, Bo. Hi, Nurse Nerd.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's absolutely real, and uh,
Oh, it's
it
not
needs to
only
be stopped. Just stop it.
well, yeah, but it's not
Get,
like a specific thing. It's several things.
how did Michael Jordan put it? Stop it. Get some help.
You heard him, Raven.
That's me.
Oh,
That's
you know
me.
what you
About
like
the
to
next one.
love.
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
I want to
The
believe.
all right. You well, I don't know. The Toronto Protocols.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know this one, Bear?
No, but I'm. It's all excited to learn about it.
Oh, okay.
I know a little
What's
bit
it
about
called? I
it.
missed that.
The Toronto Protocols.
Mm,
Oh, okay.
Except if you live in
yeah.
Toronto, you have to call it the Toronto Protocols.
Yeah. Um. Okay. From what I found, this is deeply connected to though Shadow will fight me on this. This is just what I found. It's connected to Project Bluebeam, which, according to this information, is the government's gonna fake Jesus coming back and bring about the New World Order. But the Toronto Protocol specific Shadow says it's something else. Apparently, his dad had like insider information, or whatever, for something. But specifically, the Toronto Protocols relate to apparently someone found a step-by-step guide to taking over the world, basically, like how the governments are gonna institute the new world order and
Right.
all the secret evil Illuminati plans. And it was found in Toronto, and it was written in French.
In
In
1985.
Toronto. It was written in French in Toronto, the most English city in Canada.
Yes. To be fair, the guy who comes up every single time I look up anything about Project Bluebeam or
Yeah.
the Toronto Protocol's conspiracy theory was from Quebec, not
Yeah,
from Toronto.
he's. I used to be into Bluebeam until I did a little deep dive on that guy, and he's full of shit. And he was a big Star Trek fan, and his theory came out not long after an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation that does exactly his theory. So
Have we covered
Bluebeam,
Bluebeam
Toronto
specifically?
Protocols, woo woo.
Hold up, I'm genuinely curious. I don't think we have yet.
Have we covered
What
what?
was it?
Have we covered Project Bluebeam as its own thing? Because I know
No.
these are two separate conspiracy theories.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
No, we
Okay,
haven't.
then we'll save your Project Bluebeam stuff for then.
Sure. I also think the Toronto Protocols are woo woo nonsense.
I don't doubt it. This guy just found the plan. Well, I don't know.
Just found. Just oh, look on the park bench. The way to take over the world. Oh my! Someone just left that lying around.
Mhm.
It's
Nonsense
That's
and
my protocol.
kind of like the
what?
Black Book we talked about a couple episodes back, the World War II hit list.
Well, the Black Book
Who's
was
just going to
almost
leave that
certainly
lying around?
good.
No, I mean, who's going to leave something like that lying around and not go back for it?
Well, the Black Book is different. Berlin was getting completely destroyed. They didn't really have time to. Like, I doubt that was on their biggest priorities. Some random Nazi guy just had a copy of it, presumably, and just had it somewhere, didn't care to grab it, and it just happened to get lucky and survive. Sure, there were multiple copies of it. I mean, had they won the war, do you think they wouldn't have had a list of people they wanted gone? Like specific people they wanted gone?
You know
Obvious.
what's really fascinating about the Nazis? They didn't tolerate people they wanted to get rid of. They didn't need to make lists. They got rid of people, right? That's what they did. They were actively getting rid of people.
Well, yeah,
So I
but it
don't
was
think they had a master list. I think that's just a bullshit thing someone came up with to scare the shit out of people they didn't like.
Fair enough.
But hey, I could be wrong. I'm the debunker of the group.
That's true.
Which again is really weird because with my friends, I'm the woo woo guy.
Now that's scary.
No, they're just really normal.
Out of the way.
All right. Want to move on to the next one? An actual conspiracy theory, like genuine
Sure.
conspiracy.
Yes.
Boy, that'd be nice to finally have one of those.
Yeah, the perestroika deception.
Ooh, what's the perestroika deception?
It's basically the idea that uh, the way I heard it put, though I don't think that's a fair. The way I heard it put was that communism never ended in Russia, but I think what it actually means, or the more accurate description of it, is the idea that the whole Russia trying to uh, reform its like the Soviet Union trying to reform itself and the collapsing as a result. Obviously, that's oversimplified. It didn't collapse as a result. You know what? It's not the point. Was
Yeah.
actually a ploy by the Russian government to sort of pull attention away from itself so that communism could be spread more covertly and that Russia is actually still underneath a communist dictatorship and they're still
Yeah.
plotting world revolution just more covertly instead of, you know, funding direct revolutions across the globe more
Well,
socially.
they clearly fucked
Yeah.
that up. They were.
It was formed by the
Yeah, I'm not
KGB,
buying it.
and that it's a more subversion, a more subtle way to promote communism. Damn it, cat! To promote communism and slowly and in a very covert way take over and spread communism.
We got to
You
spread
know,
that boys.
yeah, I'm guessing they might have tried that, but then everybody went native and said, "Screw it, this capitalism thing ain't so bad."
I
Maybe.
like eating McDonald's. It's good for my belly.
That's an excellent accent.
McVodka
Roast pizza.
tasty on the tongue. I like. Let's do more.
Wait, hold on. Have you guys seen the Gorbachev Pizza Hut ad?
Yes, I have.
No, no. What is it?
Oh my
Is
god.
it
Should we
funny?
show
We were alive when it happened.
Pizza Hut has Gorbachev
Yeah, in a
in
commercial,
their
yeah.
commercial. No, I have not seen it.
Right? Exactly, nerds. Ending communism to spread communism. Brilliant.
They will never
Oh, yeah,
see
I
it
actually
coming,
do not
comrade.
believe
We
in
have
conspiracy.
completely
Yeah,
put them
conspiracy.
at the disarm position. I know, but I like blue jeans and Coca-Cola. I know, comrade. We have problem with this. I understand. Ay, 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 ay. I do not believe this theory, but given it is potentially a Soviet theory, I'm not going to say no. Because they were kind of crazy.
That's true. Raven, do you have any particular thoughts on this?
Mm, I I don't. It's plausible. Plausible. It was presented from when I researched it this afternoon. Um, it seems like it's a real thing.
Shadwell?
I said my piece, but
Oh,
off grid, I actually have one of his books, Yuri's book. Yeah, fuck that guy.
you know what?
You
I'm
don't
gonna
like Yuri
do something.
Bezmenov?
Well,
What's
I
your
guess I
issue with
have.
Yuri Bezmenov?
No, I just have one of his books.
Didn't you just say fuck that guy?
Yeah,
Why?
just cause. Why not?
Are you attracted to his
Or-
narrow skull? What?
I wouldn't be surprised if you wanted to.
Uh,
All right. Let's move on again. Another physics. We'll quickly move past it. Presentism. Bear, because this is one of those topics that, well, whatever, doesn't matter. Just the idea that, well, as the name says, the sort of materialistic mindset being promoted, that sort of thing. We've talked about it countless times, just a different name for it.
Well,
What's
there's
it called?
also
Presentism.
presentism.
Oh, yeah.
It it's was developed, I guess, by the New World Order, those members
Those
of the
bastards.
WEF, the New World Order, so on and so forth, which is this to focus on the here and now and really like not pay attention to what else is going on. Just stay right here. And it's the conspiracy theory behind that is that they are trying to make a more complicit population who's not paying attention and not connecting the dots as to what's going on. There's rainbows and unicorns and be here now in the
I like
You basically
rainbows.
basically become an animal.
and don't pay attention, just consume, you know, be a good
Obey.
consumer, obey, pay your taxes, and don't pay any attention to what the hell's really going on, and certainly don't connect the dots.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
You
Yeah.
beat me to it, Bear. You beat me to it. I also thought that I thought also presentism was the idea. I could be confusing with something else. The idea that we should attribute our morals and ideas of today into the past. That they should have known better about things like slavery and racism, and we should judge them by, how we live now, not how they lived then.
Maybe people have used that word, but that's not what it means.
Okay.
All
There's
right.
probably another word for it. Unable to call up the name right now.
Probably not a single word. Probably more of a term. Want to move on to another Soviet conspiracy?
Always.
All right. Yeah, it is Soviet. The Cuban yellow balloons.
But you skipped one.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. The boots void.
Oh, I did, huh? I thought that came after it.
And this one's really cool. This one's really cool. Go ahead, tell them about it, Jack.
Oh, okay. The Boots Void or Booties Void or Bouteilles Void. I think it's a French name.
Big bouquet!
It is a very large void. Or the super void, it's sometimes called. It's an area of space with. I don't know the exact number. It was believed to be like something ridiculous, like one galaxy per like 100 million light years or something like that. I don't know the exact number, but like
I got it.
space. Oh, you do, Raven?
I have them. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was two. It recently was revealed that it was a lot more than previously expected, or previously believed, but still way more than the usual. Just a massive area in space with, relatively speaking, nothing in it.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's totally weird.
Well, how
You're
is this?
coming through, you're seeing all these, lights and the stars and the galaxies and all that stuff. And then there's just this blob. It's like kind of shaped almost like the state of Texas. It's really weird looking. And there's hardly anything in there at all. And it's not a black hole.
So
And it's not a
basically
perfect
like
circle at all. It's 330 million light years in its radius, even though it's not a perfect circle. And it's less what there are a few spotted little galaxies in there, but it's less than 1/10 of what we normally see in a populated area of space, as far as galaxies are concerned. It's very odd, and they don't know why. They theorize maybe there was a huge war, and maybe all those galaxies were just blown to smithereens and just no longer there. But nobody
Not a
knows.
single scientist theorized that. Not a single scientist went, there was a space war and galaxies were blown up. None, not one.
Or maybe those are journalists that said that. That I'm just saying
Yeah.
what I'm.
What do you mean?
I think it was. I think it was
said there's a
Marvel.
theory.
It was Marvel writers. That's where
No.
Galactus comes from.
What do you?
I think it was
Several
Stephen Weir.
several historians and scientists have theorized that it was the result of the Finno-Korean hyperwar.
What?
See?
What's
Yeah,
a
Okay, so it wasn't.
Filipino?
Okay, it
versus
wasn't
Korean?
Galactus.
No, the Finno-Korean hyperwar.
What's that?
you guys quit?
I'm not getting
How
the
did you
joke,
win?
Jackie. So just take some fucking mercy on the Gen Xer and explain your little Z humor, please.
Um, it's a long story.
I appear to have time. So what's her name? This girl that got you so distracted you had to leave the show for 15 minutes. Or would you prefer to explain Finno-Korean to me? Which one
Fine,
would
I'll
be best?
explain the Finno-Korean Hyperwar. Basically, the Great Han Empire fought a war against autism to destroy the Finnic the Fin the official name of it was the Proto-Finnic Holy Roman Khanate, and they fought a war in space.
What fucking video game is this from?
Um,
Or Ben 10? Or what the fuck is this from? This is from something, isn't it?
um, famous soldiers include on the Korean side included, uh, you know, Jackie Chan and
Who's Chinese?
yeah, and the after the collapse of the Han Empire, their whole like people lost approximately 3 inches off the average penis length.
What?
Raven perks up on penis length. I don't know.
Oh, also the Lemurians helped out in the war.
Of course they did.
They were on the Finnic side.
Which one have the little wee wees? The Finnics?
Yeah,
Or the
yeah.
Koreans?
No, the Koreans.
Oh, that's
The
racist.
Finnics, the Finns lost all their social skills though.
The Finnics are from Finland.
Yes, from Finland.
Oh, this is like extra racist. Wow.
Oh yeah, no, super racist.
Really? Anyway, back to the Buddhist
Back
darkness.
to the lesser woo woo. Yeah.
Back to the lesser Butte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best theory I heard on that one was that it could be Kardashev Type 4 civilizations. Or a Kardashev Type 5 civilization that has expanded so large and is able to hide itself through use of Dyson spheres, but even like Dyson spheres on galactic levels. I'm like, that sounds way more interesting than a space war destroyed galaxies. But again, who knows? We don't fucking know. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Or maybe it's
I personally, I think that, like Cal said, space is mostly empty. How is it not just possible through natural processes that there's an area that's just not so full of junk, full of
yeah,
space?
except we're talking on a galactic scale, Shadow. We're not talking like, oh, we're missing a couple of solar systems. We're missing tens of thousands of galaxies in this area.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge spectrum of space.
No, I get that. I can imagine, very, very large, areas of space. But it could just be one of those natural, random happenstances that this area just didn't get a lot, or maybe it's so old that they just burnt out.
Better to burn out than to fade away.
Okay,
Actually, I was just gonna say that. What's
why does
interesting
this,
is that it's not. Go ahead.
oh, nothing. It just why does the okay? Because first thing, the image that most people use for the boots void is not the boots void. It's I think just a really dark nebula blocking out a bunch of stars or something like that. The light behind it. The actual void looks it's less of an actual like defined shape. It's more just an area where there's a bunch of superclusters, and then in between them there's no superclusters, which isn't really that rare. It's just a lot. I just confusing why there's such a distinct penis shape on the opposite end of the universe.
Because of the Korean Finnic War. Weren't you paying attention to your own bullshit?
Yeah.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, did that lizard have a name, and was it Godzilla or Gojira?
Yeah, probably.
Oh no! There goes Tokyo! Go go Godzilla!
Hey.
Yeah, whatever. You enjoy your dancing at the Blue Oyster.
What is that on your? What is that?
It's the Blue Oyster Cult symbol tattooed on my left hand.
Oh yeah, I know that. I thought it looked like you had something right here.
No,
Written.
I was also doing this, but never
Oh,
mind.
okay.
All right.
They say he's got to go, 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 Godzilla.
Now I'm
Have
gonna have
we-
that damn song stuck in my head for days. Thanks, Bear.
You
Thanks
are
for the
so well.
earworm.
Yeah, well, given some of the shit you've sent me on Facebook, you're fucking welcome.
What do you mean? You don't like?
She sent me this video of a woman trying to talk and not throw up, and she's like, "This is hilarious." It was not hilarious.
And the styrofoam
It
one.
was not hilarious. It was the dumbest thing. I'm actually stupider for having watched it.
Oh my god, I thought it was hysterical. And the guy that's laughing, his laugh is so contagious. I thought it was funny. I thought maybe you needed a little lightening up. So
Oh, I needed some
time.
lightening up. Well, maybe
Yeah.
you need a little heavying up. Maybe.
Okay, I won't send you any stupid stuff then.
That's. Don't tell lies. Jesus.
I was going to say that's intrinsically impossible, Raven. Come on.
Oh, yeah. All right. Do we move on?
That was bad.
Baby
Fine.
shark, baby shark, shark.
All right. Let's go to the Soviet one I was talking about. The Cuban yellow balloons.
On and on. Shish. How do you say yellow in German?
Don't know.
Well, I'll know in a second.
Oh.
Gleb. Geb. On and on. Shish gleb balloon. All right, let's go. Do it.
All right. So, 1967, a crate was found off the coast of Florida with like a message marked in it that said "Made in the USSR," addressed to some Cuban government agency. Like it listed the specific agency. I didn't know which one it was. It wasn't the main national government. It was some institute of something, and it just contained yellow balloons in it, and that was it.
Yeah. And they thought it had been floating about 8 weeks out to sea. But
Yeah.
the return address was somewhere in the USSR.
Back in the U.S. Back in the U.S.
USSR. Don't I look?
Well, Luft means red, so you just said 99 yellow, red commie balloons. So, well done. Sir. Well done. I don't know. I've never heard of this, and it sounds, again, a lot of these weird things have nothing attached to them to sort of explain their purpose as to why they're on this list, so I'm just going to go with sure.
Well, I mean, it definitely happened, and nobody knows why.
Well, maybe, so, okay, explain how it happened again. Maybe I'm stupid.
Okay, I can find. You don't need the exact dates, but 1967.
No. Yeah.
All right, in 1967, the U.S. Coast Guard found a crate floating off the coast of Florida. It was marked "Made in the USSR" and was addressed to the Cuban government. They opened it, and it had 7 inflated yellow balloons. They also found a similar crate, like 100 or so miles south of the area, but it was empty. It was covered in barnacles. It had. They were marked in English as well as Spanish and Russian, presumably. And
yes, I know what color the Soviet flag was. OGG. I used to have a Soviet flag on my wall in college just to annoy people.
I can see that.
I don't know. Is it a practical joke? I don't know.
That's possible, but not very likely.
Oh,
But
crazy Yuri,
you mean-
what? We send them a box of 7 balloons. They're gonna be crazy, the Cubans. Like I don't.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
Have you noticed the further we go down this iceberg, the lamer it gets? It's not getting more interesting and like, ooh, it's getting like, well, this is dumb.
oh no, there's some good ones coming up.
I keep believing that that's going to happen.
I wonder if there might have been either some sort of chemical inside the balloons besides helium or just air. Maybe it was a a way to smuggle something in, like a sample, or
It was
maybe
laughing gas.
or maybe it was like a very primitive way of delivering a message. Maybe
Oh,
to
that could
whoever
be.
received it, maybe to whoever was intended to receive the box. Seven and yellow might have actually been, some sort of code acknowledgement or some sort of coded message without using traditional methods. Otherwise it sounds almost just nonsensical. But that's something we have to keep reminding everybody. There are going to be items on this list that are intentionally put in the list to make it seem ridiculous, so that the person, how does it go, Jack? That the person who wrote the list wanted to have some sort of plausible deniability,
Yeah,
that
possibly.
this was just for entertainment purposes. It wasn't real. Here's a perfect example. The Simpsons did it, or something like that, to prove that he wasn't you know divulging too much information that was you know top secret or off limits or that sort of thing.
We are speaking of the Simpsons. One of the ones coming up is that the Simpsons is actually real footage from an alternate dimension.
Okay.
I'm kidding. We don't have to talk about that today. Instead, we can talk about
Okay.
JFK and how the driver
Oh,
killed.
Jesus Christ, we were almost somewhere good, and then that ludicrous.
What were you excited about?
I was excited about JFK, and then you went for like the lamest of all the JFK conspiracy theories. The driver did it.
Oh yeah, there's some better ones later.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there are.
Like that he
I
killed
hope-
himself.
oh
Well,
yeah, that comes from Red Dwarf. That was one of the great episodes of the later seasons where JFK actually shot himself. He went back in time to kill himself so he wouldn't grow up to be a douchebag.
Something about Mary, where he's in the car with the guy, and he's like, "I got a theory about the JFK assassination. Yeah, his head, it just did that. I call it the no bullet theory." Jesus Christ.
That is my unironic theory about what happened that day.
His head just did that. Make it
Probably
happen.
at this point,
well,
it might
the,
as
the
well.
one thing that kind of is suspicious about this whole thing is that the driver and the passenger seat portion were both CIA operatives, and Jackie,
Passenger seat was the governor of Texas, wasn't it?
first two people in the seat were both CIA front seat.
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
And here's a Mandela effect, because I've seen footage of there being an extra bench in this car.
Yeah, there
And
was a
different
jump seat.
people.
The governor was in the jump seat. And you say the two guys in the front were CIA,
Mm-hmm.
and you have proof of that, and that they weren't just Secret Service?
The driver was William Greer, and I don't have the passenger seat gentleman's name. And
Interesting.
Jackie O says she blamed the driver because he slowed down, and they duck in the footage. You can see that, but she blames him for not speeding up immediately when they figured when it first started, when it was going on. He slowed down to exactly 7 miles per hour.
William Greer was the name of the guy in the front seat, by the way.
Hmm?
Agent William Greer, Secret Service
Yeah.
procedures at the time did not allow Greer to take action without orders from Senior Agent Roy Kellerman, who sat to Greer's right. Kellerman had stated that he shouted, "Let's get out of line, we've been hit," but that Greer apparently turned to look at Kennedy before accelerating the car. And that's where the conspiracy theory comes from, is that the driver turns and shoots Kennedy, but we have no footage of that.
Oh wait, people actually think that he was the one that pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Well, one of the drivers. But the drivers were not CIA, they were Secret Service.
Well, then the article I read was wrong.
Or they just like blaming the CIA for everything. like boomers tend to do.
Yeah, they do.
But I don't believe that the driver killed Kennedy. I mean, we have the Zapruder film. We would have seen the driver turn and go bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at the very least, at least they were in on it, they're saying also. If he didn't actually pull a trigger, he was at least aware of what was going to be happening and purposefully slowed the car down.
Maybe.
That's certainly plausible.
I think so
Well,
I
too.
don't think we'll ever find out for sure. He
Probably not.
definitely pulled the trigger.
But here they were supposed to release those papers this last year, and they never did. They went ahead and kept them. I don't know if we'll ever see those papers come to the light of day in our lifetime or not.
Let me ask you a question, Raven.
Yeah.
If they were to release the sealed papers, and in those sealed papers it contained the knowledge that there had been a conspiracy between organized crime, the FBI, the CIA, and the Secret Service to kill Kennedy on behalf of whoever was wanting to get rid of Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Would Americans ever have another election again after that came out? Would America not immediately descend into civil war as people started basically shooting
No,
at politicians?
I don't think there would be civil war over that.
Oh, I think there would be. I think there'd be.
I think the younger generation and even my generation would not give a damn.
Oh, I think they'd give a damn. I think you're jaded. A lot of people in America aren't, and as a result, they would be offended and upset. That's the problem. Americans, I've noticed this about you guys. You tend to think your view is everybody's view, and it's not. And that's the thing that scares the shit out of me, is that the smart, sort of chill Americans are not the majority of Americans. There is a mile-wide, rebellious, violent streak in your civilization, and it's been a powder keg that's been waiting to blow for a real long time. Something like this could set it off, and that scares me. So it's in no government's interest to ever release these documents, because it undermines all authority in the executive office and the CIA and everything else.
Yeah, definitely the CIA. Because, I mean, these were Secret Service agents, and it had to be an inside job.
So I don't think we're ever going to see it either, because there's no reason for any government to ever release it.
I do not believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did a thing. Did it at all.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, no.
He's the fall guy, you know. I think it was absolutely orchestrated with the CIA because of the way it was done, and the fact that they chose, you know, operatives to be the driver and the passenger seat. You know, it would rile people up as far as the faith in CIA, especially after on the heels of what happened to Trump and how they on Trump's first assassination attempt, the first one. We're up to 3 now.
No, we're up to 2. The second one was bullshit. It was an assassination attempt. You'll see.
Attempts were actually only at 1. Then there was a guy caught on a golf course and another guy trying to get in with a gun. Those aren't attempts. Those are foiled.
Yeah, if a bullet doesn't get fired or something doesn't blow up, it's not actually an attempt. It's an attempted attempt.
Even though he had that stash of guns and the GoPro and the...
Did he shoot the bullet?
He didn't shoot.
Anyway.
But you're right, Raven. You're right, Raven. Both instances back in the 60s and today have a lot of the same hallmarks where there's a real shooter, I think, and then there's a patsy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the CIA's involved. Or Secret Service, whatever, you know. The Secret Service comes from the CIA, right? Don't those guys, aren't they picked from the CIA?
No. The Secret Service comes from the military, the FBI, lots of police.
Law enforcement. Yeah. It's just like a
fairly separate
open audition.
You got to be good enough to get in at the point. Until that lady came in and lowered the standards, and we saw how that worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it was Joe Biden who ordered the hit.
We're just getting off on a whole new conspiracy theory now about
we're
who
not
tried to
talking
kill
about
Trump.
the Trump conspiracy. We're talking about um,
JFK.
No,
I
I'm
know.
into that.
But
I'm into that.
they
No,
do
I'm
have
into it.
they do have enough similarities to where it points to the same, method or methodology, which would be something taught by one or more specific agencies
Yeah,
that
and
are believed to be involved.
and like what you have up here that off grid said, okay, the term conspiracy theory or theorist was coined as a weapon against independent investigation of the government linked conclusions that started with JFK. That's how the whole thing, that whole
Yeah. Well,
conspiracy theory
that's
came
kind
into the
of
oh
an
lexicon
yeah,
accepted
Shadow
from
considers
common
that.
that
knowledge.
word a slur.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, Shadow gets he considers that word a slur against his people.
Well,
What?
it is because it was meant to deride anybody who does
Oh my
think
gosh, no
beyond
offense, because how many
what.
people genuinely get offended by that? How many people hear the term conspiracy theorist and okay, how many actually intelligent people just hear the word conspiracy and immediately their brain just like shuts off. Oh, you're dumb, conspiracy. That's not. At this point, the word is
A lot of
belongs.
people, Jackie. A lot of people.
Yeah,
A lot of people think that if you're a conspiracy theorist, you are a nutcase and you should be completely ignored and you have nothing to offer
right.
humanity because
And
they're
those
so
are the kind of
spoon
people
fed
that
on the nightly news that the nightly news is right and it will always be right. It can never lie, and you have to believe it or you're a conspiracy theorist.
We're in that case, yeah.
You sound
And
like a bunch of commies.
the,
Dirty Reds. I can't believe I'm hanging out with a bunch of dirty Reds. I'm messing with you. Of course, there's lots of
Oh, I know.
conspiracy and lots of real.
but that was a
Yeah.
point of ridicule for anybody questioning the narrative on the JFK assassination. That's how the
And
whole
anything
word
that came
phrase
after.
came into being. Yeah.
are you ready to move on to esoteric Hitlerism?
So
Yes.
we're definitely not going into the Trump conspiracy. Let's go into exoteric Hitlerism. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's more of a conspiracy about a conspiracy, if that makes sense. At least from my interpretation of it. Obviously, we all know the Nazis. As one of their long list of many not so good things they did, they were incredibly esoteric in their higher ups, like the SS, for example, had a lot of strange obsessions with Old Norse paganism and things like that, or sorry, things such as, and it's basically that idea carried out to the modern day, just modern neo pagans and neo Odinists and that sort of thing, who
Well, that's not a conspiracy.
Well, the
Himmler was
conspiracy.
big. Was it Himmler or Goring who was really, really into the occult?
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Was it
the
Himmler?
Hitler has somehow raised himself to deity status.
yeah, which he didn't officially do, I think, but people they were already crazy, so it's not that big of a leap. It's basically just that idea, which is not really a conspiracy, but
You missed one though. Fracking deaths.
okay. I don't really understand what the conspiracy about fracking deaths. It's a that they're
Mm.
being covered up.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. It
It's that
happens.
they're targeting certain areas in the United States, hoping to get rid of people. There's between 1,200 and 4,600 deaths in Appalachia alone, and the deaths come from the air and water pollution that fracking causes. And the conspiracy is that they are targeting areas and certain types of people living in those areas to exterminate them, basically through this means of fracking.
I would have never found out that. I
Why
never.
is it? Why is it every time there's death due to stupid corporate practices and industrialization, it's trying to get rid of people? It's not just a byproduct of their fucking greedy pricks that they happen to be killing people too. So who gives a fuck? Because they don't care about us. Why does it have to be a massive conspiracy that they're trying to get rid? Why are they trying to get rid of these people in the Appalachians? Would be my question. What profit and benefit is there in getting rid of 4,600 appellations?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Appalachia is a very
Well,
neglected and poor region of the United States, but I don't see how that correlates to the government wants to kill them all. The government
Maybe
isn't
we'll find out
many
there's a shit ton of
corporations are
lithium in
destroying
the
them all.
Appalachian Mountains, and suddenly that'll be the reason.
Yeah,
Fair
could
enough.
be. Could be.
Anything good? Yeah, it was Himmler, by the way.
or they're using it as, or they could be using it as a way to justify ending fracking. See, look, it's too dangerous.
How many corporations have paid you off, Shadow?
Seriously, Shadow, like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, with the Green New Deal people, they want to end fracking. Well, if they do it, improperly or in a
So,
dangerous fashion.
So the Green New Deal people are now in charge of fracking, and they're the ones making the bad moves.
Bribe here,
Alexandria
bribe there.
OAC is basically out there running fracking companies now. Like,
I feel
there's
like if
there's,
they
there's a
were,
bridge
they
you're
would just
missing.
shut it
There's a
down.
bridge.
Are you saying that that the conspiracy that fracking is like they're using fracking to kill people, that conspiracy is actually a conspiracy promulgated by the deep state leftist communist socialist progressive Green New Deal
Fucking
It, it would
commies.
members
it
so
wouldn't
that
be it
everyone
wouldn't be hard to insinuate bad actors in the fracking process to sabotage it in some way. It's just a thought. I don't believe it, but I can see how you could
no
kind of connect the dots.
I don't.
I don't believe you. I think you did believe it until we bullied you.
No, no, I could just I
Exactly.
can
This is why I like you.
Thank you.
no, I can see how there's such a push against fracking that anything that makes fracking look bad would be a good thing for certain people, and that would be a considerably bad thing to happen in the name of fracking to make fracking look bad.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's more people that died in supposed fracking than died in 9/11, and look how up in arms we got against over that.
Yeah, but that happened all at once.
That happened within one day.
I
Like
understand that, but
very
still, there are
like
people
relatively short
who would just
period of one day.
tout the numbers, saying, "Look how many people have died because of fracking." In let's say just a year, and there's one more reason to stop fracking.
Wasn't there a movie about, was that Aaron Brockovich? Was it against the fracking? That movie?
No, no, it wasn't. It was about dumping chemicals into the local water supply.
Oh, okay.
And he knows because he worked for the company that did it.
Yeah, Shadow is weirdly passionate about fracking and how great it is.
Hey,
Are you a dirty fracker?
I think he might
yeah, I'm so old that I once served on the Battlestar Galactica, and so I still use the old terminology, the old slang.
You shut your dirty whore mouth and you never mention that holy series again. Or I will blast the OGs out of you.
All right. We have one. Hold up. Let me fact check this before I say something completely incorrect.
Always the best way to do things. Just say incorrect shit and let the dice fall.
Yeah. Um.
Look at
Okay.
Raven.
I thought you're gonna hit me again.
I gotta punch up.
Okay. We have a few silly ones. But before we get to those, we need to get to.
Oh, really? No shit.
No. Before we
Are
get
you
to.
looking back in time or forward?
What?
Are you looking back in time or forward? It's hard to tell.
What do you
You
mean?
said a few silly ones. A few silly ones? You got to be a little more specific.
Plant intelligence, prison planets, melt the catacombs, the lizard men or amphibians of Iraq. But before we and also, space alien came to Earth and told 4chan that he's an alien and wanted to ask questions about humans, and then left. Um, but
They
before we
haven't
get
taken
What's that
to
one called?
before we get to those ones, we have to go through a real one that's very bad. Um, Red Rooms.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Bear, do you know what this is?
I used to bounce at a bar called the Red Room.
no.
That makes me think you don't know what this is.
I do not.
Okay, there are, and it's been effectively confirmed, although it's not. I don't know. The exact details are still kind of a mystery, but in there exists secret channels online where people can effectively just watch people get tortured and can like
Wasn't
vote.
this an Eli Roth movie?
It might have been. It might have been made into a movie. But we do know that there are a lot of, or at least some, kidnapping rings that lead to these online red rooms where people can watch people get tortured live and murdered.
Really? This is a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. Um,
Boy, humans are weird.
Absolutely a thing. That's
Well,
why I was just
ready
talking
when
about
you're
this the other
ready.
day. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. When was the last time you? When was the last time you heard of a kidnapping with a ransom demand? It's been a
Been
while,
a long
right?
time.
Because they
Mhm.
don't do that anymore. There's way more money and profit to be made by doing something like a red room with your kidnapped victim.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you're right.
The last time I actually heard about a ransom was literally the movie Ransom with Mel Gibson. And in my previous career, they would just, when they kidnap people, they would do horrible things to them, film it, sell the tapes or the what have you, or sell access to a place where you could watch it live. And the money that's made from those kind of revenue streams is far more than the millions that they might get from returning the victim.
That's so insidiously sick.
Yeah, from the initial kidnapping all the way to that kidnapped victim's final moments could bring in money for all kinds of different services and products, if you will, all the way down to even organ harvesting at the very end, to where it's just it's pointless to return the people for a paltry sum of a few $1,000,000.
Yeah, yeah. And run the risk of getting caught by
Right.
having marked money or, you know. Wow. Wow, that's sick. So sick. I never thought of that. You're right. Hmm.
Bear, do you have any things to say?
The world is full of evil, shitty people, and people who pay money to see gross things.
All right. Shall I lighten the mood with plant intelligence?
Oh, yes. I've been waiting for this one.
Oh, we know.
Should we just leave and have it just be the two of them?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm good. I'm gonna get a drink while these two fight about plant intelligence. Sounds good.
Wait, no, I was implying it'd be you and her.
Yeah, I'm bowing out of this one, just there, young master. I'm playing it smart because I'm about to have opinions that'll make her mad.
I'm also gonna
No.
go get a drink. I'll be back.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
I'm not-
Shadow
my
and
God.
Raven, talk plant intelligence because it's bullshit and not real.
Yeah.
No, it is real, and Cleve Baxter proved it. And they all leave. Look at this. You see this shit? This
Oh, I'm
ass
sorry. I'm
in the
still I'm
chat
still
room?
here, Raven. I'm still here. I just pushed the wrong
Thank
button.
you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right. So Cleve Baxter, he was in the 60s the head primo dude for lie detector tests and stuff. And he had a
And he
school
was
in San
discredited
Diego.
or
No,
debunked, if you will.
no, he's not debunked. No, he's not debunked at all. So and there's a
Well,
book.
did you look that up, or did
Yeah,
you
I
only look
did.
in the one direction? Okay, because I've heard various sources where that theory's been debunked. They even did an episode of MythBusters where they showed that it's not in fact the case.
Well,
And if MythBusters proves it, then that's gospel.
no, I've caught MythBusters in a few things where they're not bringing in all the information that should be tested. Let's just say. All right. So anyway, let's go back to this plant intelligence. Okay. So back in 1966, he had a case in his office of the plant seemingly reading his intentions, and he was like, "That's not possible. Plants don't have consciousness." And he made an experiment. He even took it to the level of getting some live brine shrimp. And he left the office. What he did, he hooked the plant up to some electrodes. And it was very similar with the polygraph machine. You know how when they're giving somebody a lie detector test, they've had the little electrodes on them. Okay. So he used the very same. Come on. Damn it. Get out of the. Excuse me.
Raven,
Anyway,
real quick, you need a brand new invention. I'm going to copy right after the episode. It's called a catapult.
oh, I thought you were going to say
Dad
cattle
joke,
prod.
retard. The
Anyway,
cattle prod. I like that one better.
watch him jump the side. You had that come up. Anyway,
I was actually pricing them yesterday for a
this
completely different reason.
he was watering his plant, the plant there in the office, and he just shits and giggles hooks this thing up to the polygraph, and he thought that it should probably spike when he waters it because it's getting water and there should be some type of a reaction. Well, the opposite happened, and so he started doing these experiments on these plants using the polygraph machine, right? And so then he hooks up this experiment where he's got these brine shrimp that are right next to a big boiling pot of water, and he's got it rigged up and set on a timer. At some point, they're going to be dumped into the water, and he also hooks up the plant. And I forgot to say what happened with the plant. Okay, before we get to the shrimp, okay, he had this thought of burning the plant, and he went to his secretary's office to get a match. And when he came back, he noticed that at the time, right then where he thought about, I'm going to go get a match and I'm going to burn this plant, the thing spiked. It read his mind, is what he had concluded from this. And so then he conducted more and more experiments over plants being able to read our intentions. So he took this whole thing one step further, and he had two plants, then identical in size and in species. And he instructed his lab kids to come in and talk nice to this one and talk bad to this one. And so they go up to this one. Oh, your leaves are so lovely. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, I love you. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're so ugly. You're so hideous. Why don't you just die, And sure enough, within a month, even though they had equal sunlight and equal water, the one that was talked to negatively shriveled up and died.
Went off to New York and became a stripper.
That's so fucking on point.
Well, when he came back from this experiment with the brine shrimp and hooked up to the plant, as he expected, and he left so that his consciousness would not have any effect on the experiment. He hooked it all up, so it was all timed, so the brine shrimp go into the boiling water, and at that same time, that plant spikes.
Because it was upset for the brine shrimp?
Yeah.
How much LSD did this guy do? Just out of curiosity. Just asking.
He's faster. And so then he wrote a book called The Secret Life of Plants. Yeah. Now, there's something that they have discovered, that when there is I can't remember which insect it is, that is very detrimental to one of these species of wildflower, they will release a pheromone to warn the other ones, and the trees pick up on this, and the trees will release a pheromone that drives that insect away. No, that's not right. It releases a pheromone that attracts another insect that eats that one. That's what it is. Sorry. Now that's showing communication. They're showing communication between species to species, but then species to other species, and the trees help out. It's some kind of a stinging. I don't know if it's not a bumblebee, but something like that. Anyway, it just tears up this species of wildflower. Now, that's amazing, don't you think? Okay, maybe not. There's also a device
No.
that they just came out with last year. I did a story on this for the radio. It is where they hook up a couple electrodes to your plants around your house or in your garden, and it goes through this computer program and creates music that there's actually, we can't hear it, but there's actually a symphony of music going on right outside our homes, out in our gardens at all times. And this device can feed this through a computer and then spit it out. And it's amazing. How cool is that?
I'm not buying it.
The
Doesn't mean
device is
plants
very
are
real.
a communication system. My mycelium communicates. Trees communicate.
Yeah, they do.
They're intelligent. Just means they communicate.
But they communicate with each other also, which shows intelligence.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to see this like the
Yeah,
plant.
see, trees communicate through the pheromones, right? Well, the trees will release a pheromone that attracts another insect that eats the one that's attacking the wildflowers.
And yet that doesn't always work.
Just the fact that they
Hey,
do
real
that
quick,
is amazing.
nerds. One of these days we're gonna have to have a talk because I've seen shit that
Would turn
goes
you
against.
white.
Well, don't want to make any
Yeah.
assumptions.
Yeah.
Nobody.
To discount that from firsthand experience. Maybe they stopped using the internet because I wouldn't want to see that online. But I know everything else is 100% legit.
What are we talking about?
What are you talking about?
The red rooms.
Oh,
I'm a little behind on the chat.
okay.
Trying to catch up.
About fucking trees.
Yeah,
No.
me too. And I'm like, what?
For me, it's one of those things like my ultimate reaction is, so what? I'm still going to have a salad every once in a while, and I'm not going to shed a single tear for the poor little plants that are crying in agony.
I think I can find that bookmark of this device. It's really cool. Kind of pricey. But yeah, you can listen to music by way of the plants in your garden.
And as Nerd says right here, Clive Baxter's experiments were BS. Tons of other people reproduced his experiments, and literally no one could get his results.
Hmm. Well, if it goes on intention, if their intention was to debunk or that it wasn't going to work, then it's not going to work, probably. I don't know. Because it responded to his intention. Well, the thing is, it responded to his intention. His intention was to go get the match so that he could burn the lead. Right?
I got to ask the question then, Raven. Was he smoking? Was he smoking any of the plants?
So I didn't say. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, but just going by intention alone. So if the intention of the experiment is for nothing to happen, then you would get a no reaction.
No, that's not how science works.
If the plant is responding to your intention and your intention is that nothing's going to happen, then it's not going to do anything. That's what I'm saying.
Again, then that means they're not intelligent.
But
or
if your
they're so
intention is you're
intelligent
going to go, if your intention is you're going to go get a lighter and burn it, then it reacts. I'm saying just purely on that line of thinking, it'll respond to your intention.
That doesn't make any sense because if you burn it, you know, okay, so what? Its last act of defiance is not to give you the satisfaction of hearing it scream.
Well, it did do that. He did another experiment where he had two plants, and they were both in the same room. And he did this burning the leaf thing, and he had them both hooked up to the electrodes. And the other plant started just like going off the scale when he was burning the leaf of the other plant. So how do you explain that? It's weird because plants don't have eyes, and a brain encased in a skull. So that's how we think of intelligence, right? The brain, the eyes, all the senses and so forth. And you look at a
No,
plant and it doesn't have.
I think of intelligence as what you do with your life. If you do literally nothing but grow, eat, sleep, and shit, then you're not intelligent.
Hey, I'm not intelligent.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say that about Shadow. Dang it.
Hey, I do a lot more than just eat, sleep, and shit.
It's
Hey, talk
hard
shit on
for
the
us
internet.
to attribute
That's true. You also
intelligence to
complain
something,
online.
Yes.
something that doesn't have an eyes and brain and so on and so forth. But obviously, they do have intelligence, even though they don't have eyes like we have, or a brain that we know. It's like something completely different. But there is proof that they respond to consciousness, they respond to intention, and they have their own intelligence and ability to communicate, even though they have no mouth or hands to do sign language. I mean, it's all part of that field. They talk about the collective field.
Oh dear God!
It has to be, because they can't pick up. They can't pick up a cell phone and call the maple tree over here.
Why would you? Maple trees are boring as fuck. I live around them. They don't have much to say.
But whatever. The apple tree, the elm, the freaking oak. Take your pick.
You could call the tree that vanished from your yard and find out where it is. Where are you, tree? I miss you. Come home. I'm in Paris. I have no time for you. Revenge.
Now give away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Listen. Just because they communicate does not mean they are intelligent. Okay? Cats communicate. They are not intelligent.
Oh, I beg to differ. Now, not all of them are the same level.
Of course, you would beg to differ. Imagine my surprise that you would beg to differ. This is my surprised face. Oh,
I was thank you, nerds. I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't want to. I was kind of done with this one.
What did she say? I can't.
Someone made a program that turns plant signals into music. That's a program making music, not plant.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me find it. I know I've got it bookmarked here.
Trouble now, mister. She's going to find it.
And when she's find out,
I'm shaking in my house flippers.
Trying to remember what the hell it's called. Okay, hold on here. I know I've got it bookmarked. I just got to find the bookmark. Just hang on.
Be careful you don't disconnect yourself.
Stop.
Oh, by the way, not to be rude, but I do suggest that we move on soon because the plan was to end this at 2 hours. Because Bear, I know you have stuff to do tomorrow.
No, this is fun. Finally, let's keep going.
Okay, well, Shadow has like a meeting to sell some more drugs in like 6 minutes. So
no, he doesn't.
Shadow.
I don't sell drugs. Drugs are bad. I actually despise all drugs out there except nicotine.
That's what you want us to think.
No, you probably have a girlfriend to call.
Is it working?
Right?
Is it working, Jack?
What?
Is it working? Is it working, Jack?
What is what working?
My attempt to make everybody think that. Is it working?
That make them think that you don't like drugs?
Yeah.
It was working until I found out.
Okay. You're never going to do drugs, right, Sport?
Given how much of your stuff has leaked from the basement, it's all just...
That was good. That was good. I
Yay.
almost spit my water all over my laptop or my tablet. Thank you.
Well played,
That was
Jackson.
good.
Well played.
Thank you. Thank you.
Raven's gonna find it so hard she'll break the computer while she's doing it. I will find the answer. I broke the computer. I destroyed the internet.
I'll find it
You
here
know,
while
You
we're
have mail.
talking.
Dear Raven, this is the tree. I had to leave. I could not bear to see you every day anymore. It made me cry. I know you miss me, but I went. I left.
And I'm brokenhearted.
This
I am
is so
broken
sad.
out.
I will never love again.
Again, nerds, spot on. Thank you.
Beans, I swear to fuck, you're gonna die. You know, it's like looking down, just seeing a shadow with these two yellow eyes, and then on the one side you see an F, and on the other side you see an E. You know that's saying food. You have food in your bowl. Go eat the food.
Oh
in
man,
your
no,
bowl. All right, so we done then? Because Shadow had to go
Yep.
sell drugs, or Jackie's got a hot date, or whatever the fuck's going on.
We can extend it a bit, but yeah, we're on to last Thursdayism,
Oh, this is an
Which is-
interesting one.
which is the
Is this the idea
idea,
that the world just started last Thursday?
Mhm.
or that not necessarily, but effectively yes, the world could have started some period during our lives, and we just kind of were born into the world with memories and some kind of action. Uh, Effectively, obviously, it doesn't have to be literally last Thursday, but you know.
No, but you realize, like, a theory like this is the kind of shit that comes up out of your basement when Shadwell's down there, right? Like that's
Oh.
what leads to these theories.
I had nothing to do with it.
Whoa,
I,
dude! I just had a thought. What if the world's only been around since like last Thursday, and we just believe that the Middle Ages happened?
yeah, that's exactly my thoughts on this entire theory. It's ridiculous. If you want to go back to the beginning of the theory, where for those of you who believe in Adam and Eve, that the world was created to look old for Adam and Eve, or that it was created the way it needed to be for Adam and Eve to walk around. I could get behind that because, you know, why not? But it's another one of those things where my reaction is pretty simply, so what? I got better things to do than waste my time, you know, gazing at that particular day.
Was the world created last Thursday, Misty?
There's way better tables to look at, trust me.
Misty says no and feed me, you fucker. That's what Misty just said. Food.
I only have
Why
3
was there
bookmarks or
today
more.
now? Because it's Thursday.
Okay, we can move on to the next one while I'm looking for this.
Well, thank you, Princess.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for giving us the praise.
Okay, let's
Move
talk
on.
about something equally.
That was
what
off the bear.
Okay,
Why do I put up with this abuse? Why do I do this abuse?
You love me. You think I'm great.
all right.
I do.
This one's not at all really a conspiracy theory. It's more of another concept that you would come up with while high. It's basically the idea that the universe doesn't exist and it's all an illusion. Not in the sense that it's a simulation, it's just fake.
Yeah, nothing is real.
Anyways,
Except,
want to talk about the Bouvet Island lifeboat?
I'm sorry,
Sure.
the Bouvet
Yeah.
lifeboat? What the fuck
Yeah.
is that?
this is interesting. Go ahead.
All right, it was.
Yeah, you keep saying that, and then it's not that interesting, Raven. So your judgments are questionable on this.
That was mean.
Well, which one in particular do you say that I said was interesting that you didn't find interesting?
Plant intelligence.
Do we have that much time? Do we have that much time?
Dang, you guys are really.
You're next.
Bouvet Island is.
You're next.
I can't believe I almost said that sentence. Oh my gosh.
What? What's the sentence?
I almost, no, I'm not saying it. Um, it's in Antarctica. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's in like the Norwegian part, or it's not in Antarctica. It's close to Antarctica, basically part of Antarctica. Um, Owned by Norway, and in the middle of the island, there's just a lifeboat stranded there with no. It's just stuck there. No sign of a human that got there and escaped there, crash landed there, and it's in the middle of the island. So they would have had to have dragged it all the way out there. Obviously, you can't really see a sign because of all the snow. So it's not there. It could have been dragged out there, but why? And why has nobody found out who did that or found any signs of a person having been there?
Yeah,
Is
It,
it
it's
possible that they left? Is that possible?
oh yeah, but where to? It's in the middle of the ocean.
To go
yeah, it's an
die on
island.
a
And
mountaintop
where's their body?
and they get covered by snow and ice?
Fair enough.
All right, so I'm just going to go officially on the record and say, not interesting.
Well,
This is so sad.
the conspiracy theory part of this is that they believe that the Nazis actually found Agartha, which is the underground.
Wait,
Yeah,
Just
and
just
that
take it
that's
to its
Sure, the
absolute
sound
apogee,
barrier
shall
is
we?
great. My eyes
okay,
rolled
one at a
on
time.
that.
What?
Go ahead, Shadow.
We're just going to take this one to its absolute maximum apogee, aren't we?
That I'm just saying that's what's associated with this. The conspiracy theory part of this is the most uninhabitable place on the planet, this island, and here's this lifeboat, and that the Nazis were rumored to have found Agartha, uh, which is used to be on top of the planet like we are, but went underground right before the last major cataclysm, and that they found it through an entrance in Antarctica, and that's what they were rescued and taken to Agartha and left behind their lifeboat.
all right. Since Bear doesn't seem too interested, should we move on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Although I'm just going to go with the Occam's razor on this one. There's so many absolutely mundane, perfectly believable ways a boat could get on an island, no matter how deep into the island, other than you know
High tide,
something.
tsunami,
Yeah,
yeah,
Tsunamis. There are waves out there that are 40 feet tall, 50 feet
road
tall.
waves, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I wasn't not interested. I had to feed my black furry overlords before they killed me.
Yeah.
They're kind masters, but cruel too. Anyway, I just think a boat fucking washed up on an island, and people then took it to Nazis in Agartha because that's what you do. I found a rock in the field. Well, the Nazis found Agartha in this field, and that's why the rock was there as a place marker for us to know that that's where
You're
the entrance
crushing
to
my
Agartha
dreams, Bear.
was.
Okay.
What?
I said you're crushing my dreams.
What? The Nazis found Agartha?
Just that there is Agartha.
Oh, I'm not saying there isn't Agartha. I'm just saying stop making it the end of every conspiracy theory world. Like, it's like skinwalkers. It's overused now.
Fair enough. All right. Should we move on to the abiogenic petroleum origin hypothesis?
Mm-hmm.
Is this where oil is a living fungal thing or something?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so what's this one?
It's the idea or a theory proposed by scientists, like a Ukrainian Soviet scientist in the 60s, that most of Earth's oil was actually formed inorganically, and there's a lot more of it than we think there should be.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't there. It's actually not a fossil fuel at all. That
oh, it never
it's a
was.
result.
Yeah, that was just
Yeah,
one dumb theory that
did not.
took hold.
It's carbon.
Didn't scientists recently discover that there's oil on other planets that don't have dinosaurs, never had
Titan.
dinosaurs?
Yeah, that we know
There you
of,
go.
at least.
Titan,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Titan has
carbon,
more oil than
hydrogen,
Earth.
and zirconium.
Wait, Bear, say that again. I didn't hear you.
I think it's Titan, Saturn's moon, Titan, and Saturn's moon, right? I get confused. Anyway, one of them
Yeah.
has more oil than
Saturn is
Earth,
tight. Yeah, Saturn's tight.
according to the Cassini probe or whatever. So it looks like it's time for Titan to get some freedom.
I like the way you think, Bear.
Of course.
America, fuck yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to address Fur here. I will believe in climate change when the richest of the rich all move to mountaintop resorts and sell their beachfront property. Until then, they can kiss my narrow white ass.
And it is narrow and it is white.
Kiss my lily roses.
Raven's gonna fight it so hard she's gonna break her
been
computer.
solved, by the way.
There, thank you.
All right. Secret societies. Are we ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Secret societies today is just kind of checking the beat. Oh, sorry. Wrong. Yeah.
Sorry, really quick, hang on. The scientific reconnaissance vessel Salva 9 began its regular 13th cruise with the Salva Antarctic whaling fleet on October 22nd, 1958. On the 27th of November, it arrived at Bouvet Island. A group of sailors landed and then couldn't leave the island at the time due to the worsening weather conditions and stayed on the island for about 3 days. The people were withdrawn by helicopter on November 29th, 1958. There's your Bouvet Island mystery.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Or the Nazis found an entrance to Agartha. Don't ever change, Raven. You make my world brighter and better.
I'm just saying what the. I didn't say I believed it. I didn't say I believed it. Now, plant intelligence, I believe that. I was just stating from my research what it's about. I didn't say I believed it.
Here's a quick question when you do research. Do you ever put in the opposite term like debunked or solved or revealed so you get the other side of the story too?
I never put that in the search.
You got to do that in the searches so you can find the people who are giving you the counter arguments.
Usually the internet is the counter argument.
I don't, yeah.
So I go to my private library first, then I go to Google.
So what are we on now?
So it's just that like organizations like the Freemasons and the Illuminati, that they are not the like shambles of their former selves that they appear to be. That they actually still hold just as much power and political influence.
That are alive and well. Mm-hmm.
Which is, almost certainly not true.
They're turning the freaking trees gay. I don't understand. Please explain this one again.
Oh, it's
because you started explaining it, then the two of you just went, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah."
Oh,
so,
secret societies today refers to just that secret fraternal organizations like the Masons and other similarly associated groups are actually just as powerful as they used to be and continue to hold immense political and social influence throughout the world. And that the Freemasons aren't just, a fraternal charity with weird aesthetics.
May I?
Go ahead.
If there are any actual secret societies running the world, you've never heard of them because they're secret. Masons, Rosicrucians, Skull and Bones, all that stuff, that's just thrown up as distraction. We get to hear about that stuff. So we argue about it and we don't dig deeper and find out that there's actually real shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie, you could become a Freemason.
Wait, what?
You could become a Freemason. Do you know how easy it is to become a Freemason?
Oh yeah.
One, you get a Freemason to sponsor you. Easy. 2, you got to make sure you have enough money to pay for the ring and all the bullshit. Easy. 3, don't be an asshole when you go to see them so you don't get blackballed in the voting. And you're in. And then you know what you do? Kill your fucking liver. Because that's all they do is have meetings and drink. Real secret societies, we don't hear about them. We don't know what they're doing.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's move on to more silly ones with Real Museum.
What?
All right. It's referring to a thing that happened on 4chan in like the early 2010s, I think, where some guy popped up and said, "Yep, I'm an alien. I'm visiting Earth for the weekend. Ask me questions." And people were like, "Give proof." And apparently, he gave pictures of like people's houses from far above or whatever, and you couldn't reverse image search them. And they're like, "Take a picture of the moon." So he sent a picture of the moon that was like never seen before, and you couldn't find it on any like it wasn't from any space mission or whatever.
I heard
And then
about this.
someone filmed, was like, "Hey, I bet you won't come over to my house and take a picture." And then he did, and then he was filming, and then it showed like three lights in the sky, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, it's real! The alien's real! He's really here!" And then at the end, the alien's like, "Well, my parents are here. I gotta go. Bye bye." And then he left.
Yeah, sounds more like a psyop.
It sounds
or
like,
a very, very proficient 13-year-old computer kid who just happened to, do some real good research before he propagated this hoax.
yeah, but
I bet you half the accounts that were saying, "Oh, take a picture of my house in a minute," or show me, were his sock
Right.
accounts.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. I mean, the four of us here right now could come up with just such a conspiracy and propagate it throughout the internet, and in a week, everybody would be talking about it.
Oh, you mean like the Miami Aliens one?
Yeah.
Oh, horse shit that is.
And,
Anyway,
and if we were to enlist nerds to give us a hand, we'd probably get in some serious trouble, right, nerds?
you don't want to fuck with nerds. Let me just, without revealing why, you just do not want to fuck with nerds. Keep that straight.
Oh, no,
in your
you
heads at all times. Yeah, take a picture of my house. Really? How about take a picture of yourself? How about take a picture of your UFO? How about show me some cool technology? How about come over to my house? Beep, merp, merp, merp. You know what I mean? Like, this was clearly sock accounts.
oh, yeah, 100%. But it's kind of silly. I like
This
it.
is John Titor all over again.
What is Agartha? Someone want to take this one for our friend Per?
Yeah.
I can tell my brother by the flowers in his hair. It's the lost city beneath the earth of the Buddhist highway and blah, 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 blah. Shambhala. Agartha.
It's a great song, isn't
Gartha
it?
was believed to be up in the Himalayas, and they were not part of the rest of the Tibetan population. They were from the get-go, I believe, labeled as like extraterrestrials that came there and stayed. But they left and went underground right before the last cataclysm, and they were always trying to find it through a tunnel system up in the mountains, up in there. And supposedly it's like a paradise type place.
All right.
Ain't that always the case?
Grass is always greener on the other side, you know.
All right.
Always look
Since
on the
we're kind of
bright
running out of time, let's
side
kind
of
of
the-
go through these. Next one.
Dale says that's where my socks are. Good one.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Prison planets. The theory that the Earth is actually a prison. Humans are not native to the Earth and were put here by some space aliens for some reason, some sort of punishment. Earth is just a massive version of we're referencing another conspiracy. Obviously, you know the Australia conspiracy that there's a giant island called or a continent called Australia.
It doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, a ridiculous conspiracy theory, but basically that idea that they threw everyone on an island as a prison, that's the Earth. It's the conspiracy. That humans are actually native to some other planet, and all us humans were thrown on here because our ancestors did something bad and were put on prison Earth. And I guess there's some evidence like people have back problems, therefore we weren't designed for this gravity or something.
Yeah, and why did we lose our hair? Because it still gets cold.
Because we
Yeah.
get old.
I mean,
Well, I mean, why don't we look like monkeys? Is
why
what
don't we
she's.
look like Sasquatch? Basically.
Because we're not
Yeah.
Sasquatch, we're something else.
And why are we something else? Supposedly they took the Sasquatch and genetically modified that was the evolving hominid here on this planet, supposedly. I know, this is fresh bear nuts. But the Anunnaki
How
took
dare you compare us to big feet?
look, even in the Epic of Gilgamesh, they talk about Enkidu. Enkidu was big, hairy, fit the description of a Sasquatch. Anyway,
Enkidu,
that's the
woo woo.
Oh yeah, no, this is a super woo woo theory. I love it.
Oh
and
my
so
god.
us being on a prison, yeah, because there are we're not the top of the food chain, supposedly. There are entities that feed on human misery, and they keep us here in a prison planet to feed off of our sorrow and our shame and our guilt and envy and anger and rage and depression and anxiety, all that
Well, they're getting fat
fun
off
stuff.
me.
Yeah.
All right, since these last three are connected, I think we're gonna skip past Multi Catacombs and talk about that next time, and instead we're going to go to the bunkers in Mars, if that's all right with you.
The
Hmm.
bunkers of Mars?
Yes. Basically, I forgot which rover it was, probably Curiosity, took a picture on Mars that looks. Well, it's in the thumbnail. I put it in the thumbnail. It's a very blurry photo of basically a canyon wall with a like perfectly cut square rectangular hole in it, and people think that it's actually an alien bunker on Mars.
I've seen some where it looks like tunnels. So I've heard about that all the life on Mars had to go underground, and that we even have a base there that's underground.
Who is doing this? I don't.
There's a whistleblower by the name of Corey Good who talks about having being in the he was in the 20 and Back program that for the deep state um, military.
Shadow,
That
I
he's
think your computer's
there.
broken.
Why do you say that?
Uh, can't type anything. Whatever.
Because
Oh.
beans broke.
It immediately goes to files for some reason.
Beans.
I'll take a look at it when we're done.
All right. Well, I guess you're not getting a picture of the Mars bunker. Just look at the thumbnail if you want to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty blurry.
Is that when
Unless
Misty
someone else wants to bring it up.
Oh, that's beans.
beans?
You can tell by the bright eyes and the short fur.
Beans. Good for
You
your
good,
heart.
buddy? You
More
good?
you eat, more your heart.
That explains the styrofoam video now. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, what are we doing now? What are we talking about? Mars bunkers? Yeah, I don't know. All that weird stuff that came back from Mars. Who knows? Mars is Atlantis. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't need to see the picture, I'm sure you know the conspiracy that there were. Well, I mean, we know Mars used to be similar to Earth in many ways, and now it's not. I don't know.
Come on down to Martian bunkers. We got the best bunkers on Mars. We can make bunkers for you in an afternoon. You can get them at wholesale. You can get a 2-level. You get a 3-level. Hey, whatever amount of levels you want, we will make it for you here at Martian bunkers.
All right.
I've never heard that one before. That one's kind of interesting.
All right. Let's go for one final conspiracy: the Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
or specifically
Oh,
the men or amphibians of Iraq, but it's the Anunnaki. That's what it's talking about. We all, I hope. You know what, Shadwo? You do the honors, given you're obsessed with the Ancient Alien show. It's your favorite show.
uh,
You explain.
I'm going to pass this one off to Raven because she knows so much more about it than I do.
You're literally you own the DVDs. Shut up. You made me watch these when I was like 4. This was my history class. T- you know, okay? Just give it to me.
The Anunnaki, the former inhabitants of the 10th planet, came here looking once upon a time for gold. Too lazy to mine the gold themselves, so they injected their DNA into monkeys and got us. And after they got enough gold, I guess they left, or we kicked them off, depending on whether or not you believe the works of Zechariah Sitchin. Yeah, like
I do
we
not.
kicked them off the planet. What was
Zechariah
that, Bear?
Sitchin's translations are suspect and have been debunked by many people over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
But we don't know that. We don't. I don't speak or read Sumerian.
Yes,
Do
but there
you?
are people who do read Sumerian
Right.
who have said his translations are horseshit.
Well, how do you know they read Sumerian?
Well, how do I know you speak English? How do I know air actually keeps me alive and it's not magical ether from the moon supporting me every day? How do I know that this chair I'm sitting on is actually physical and not just a vibrational illusion my mind has created? How do I know the internet exists? How do I know the color blue is the color blue? At some point in time, Raven, we have to take things for fact. Otherwise,
Yeah,
we're just going
yeah.
to play
I know.
everything.
I know. I know. We do. And
And I take for fact that these people understand the Sumerian language because they translated it and they understand it. And then Zechariah Sitchin, who had no training in any of these fields, came in and gave a whole new translation that fits his crazy woo-woo theories. What's more likely? No? All right, I'm wrong.
could go either way. It really could, for all we know.
Okay, fair enough.
But okay, let's just go by the drawings. Forget about trying to read the uniform stuff. All of a sudden, this civilization appears here between the Tigris and Euphrates River, right? You have Sumer. You have Ur. Yeah. Prior to that, well, other than Göbekli Tepe, which has just been
Oh,
has
wait,
been
so we have found stuff that existed before Sumeria.
yeah, but it's not in the form of it's a like a temple complex. But in Sumeria, you've got homesteads, you've got a temple, a ziggurat, you've got more like civilization. Göbekli Tepe is more of a place of ritual place.
I
They
don't know,
think
I've never heard of
from
it.
from what's
You never
there.
heard of Gobekli Tepe?
No, it's like Australia. It doesn't exist.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. I got you. Say no more.
Göbekli
Say no more.
How do I know Göbekli Tepe is real? How do I know it's called Göbekli Tepe?
books and all kinds of articles,
You,
You're missing the
archaeology. You can go,
Huh. So all kinds
what'd you
of
say?
articles about the translation of the Sumerian language, all kinds of articles, all kinds of theoretical studies, all kinds of published papers.
Okay, you've got all of a sudden an advanced civilization just pops up out of nowhere that has a written language, that has a whole social structure, religious, all this kind of stuff. Okay, and if you go by just the pictures of the carvings, you've got these Anunnaki, which are clearly larger than the regular humans, and the pictures tell a story that jives
I believe that
along with
now.
what. Hmm?
I'm starting to believe Earth is hell.
I could say something.
I mean,
I don't want to.
Oh, go ahead, Jack.
No, I don't. I can't come up with a way to say it. Go on.
There's no way that we can see Jupiter or Saturn with the naked eye and be able to know about it, that Saturn has rings around it, what order these planets are in. Yet the Sumerians have discs and where they uh, clearly have all the planets. They've got an extra one on there, in fact. I mean, the level of advancement is inexplicable. come from a bunch of goat herders that are, chasing prey to eat, nomadic people, to all of a sudden now an advanced civilization in like no time,
Have
in
you
a
heard
blink
of,
of an
have
eye.
you heard of the Indus Valley civilization?
The Indus Valley, I've heard of, yeah.
Have you heard of the civilization that was there?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it is.
And we have no record of them coming up to what they were before they vanish. We have no record of the Egyptians coming up. We have no record of the Sumerians. Doesn't mean they didn't come up. It just means we have no record of it.
Yeah. Chetzepi was the civilization prior to. They talk about the time before, which I think is what that translates to. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole. I mean, anyway, the pictures alone show that these guys had the Anunnaki had wristwatches. You can
Or
see,
some sort of jewelry that actually looked like a wristwatch.
yeah, and they're much taller, much larger, and they show the humans as being diminutive and in pretty much like enslaved in some pictures.
But
If
that
you
could
just
have
go
been
by
an
the
artist's
drawing.
interpretation or a stylized version of some sort of, perspective. They're far away, so they're small, and these people are closer up, foreshortening, that sort of thing. We don't know exactly why they drew them that way. We're making a lot of assumptions there.
Well, not really.
Hey, what's up, Full Metal? Welcome to the show.
Anyway, they found the gold mines that they were mining. They believe these gold mines are like really, really, really super old, and they're down in southern part of Africa. They call it Adam's calendar. They've got these really weird circular things in the ground, and there's an acoustic. The type of rock that they use has a really wild acoustic. Um, you can play. You almost play them like a xylophone. These things, these rocks. Anyway, it's pretty. It's intriguing. The Anunnaki, those who from the heavens came. Hopefully, what that means. The Anunnaki. The two brothers, Enki and Enlil.
Why does everybody forget Ea?
He is the same name as Enki.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you know that for sure?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in her? Do you believe in Hercules?
Well, I suppose. I've never
Because it's
thought
actually
about it.
Gilgamesh. It's actually Gilgamesh from the Sumerian myths.
Okay,
You believe in Noah
I
and Noah's
guess.
Ark and the flood?
Yeah, his Utapishtim or something like that.
Also from the Sumerian legends.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the book of Genesis from the Sumerian legends.
Yes, yes. I'm with you on the same page on that. Yeah,
It's fair
absolutely.
to say that instead of aliens coming down and making this whole civilization, this was a common mythology in the Middle East that was spread around by trade and eventually sort of manipulated. Oh, and also the Indian civilization had already brought information to them, including the idea of their sky god. So we can track a lot of this stuff and we can see where a lot of the influences come from. And 0% of the information we have says that it came from outer space.
Oh no! And you find that in cultures all around the globe. They all point up that these people came
Yes.
down and taught them how to farm and taught them language and taught them medicine and so forth. And a
So
lot of times
do you believe the Pleiadian stuff, all that current mythology that's really popular in the UFO community? Do you believe all that?
no,
Okay, because that's the
I'm
same idea.
aware of it.
People just making up shit and writing it down, and other people going, "That sounds good," and believing them.
No, but if you study the ancient cultures, they all talk about and look at the Vimanas and go to Indus Valley's in India, isn't it?
The interest, yeah, it's yes.
Okay, well they talk about the Vimanas and the Hindu religion still has multiple gods that all look like extraterrestrials. You go to the Dogon tribe, rather isolated tribe until 1926 or so. They have a star map of a star that we didn't even know was there, a white dwarf, um, until later technology was developed that we did see that it was there. Now, how the hell did they know that? They know that because they said their gods that came down from the sky taught them that. So you just by going by what they say, there's the Kachinas that the Native Americans out in the Southwest talk about. These were the gods that came down from the sky. It's a repeating theme. You go to Japan, you go to China, go to all of these major cultures. They all say the same thing. There's got to be something to it. It's not just Sumeria. Go to Australia and talk to the natives there. They say the
Why?
same thing. Aborigines.
We've already established Australia's a myth.
Why are you citing the fake continent? Like, there's clearly 6 continents and one lost one. The lost one is friggin' Atlantis or whatever. That, or no, Oceania or something like that. I don't know. But Australia does not exist, and we all know it. It's a ridiculous
Well, this is a news flash to
piece
me.
of British propaganda. Because everybody knows that the British invented Australia to cover up for the worst thing they ever did when they put a bunch of prisoners on a boat and then sank the boat. Because clearly the British never did anything worse than that ever.
Hmm.
They need to make a whole continent up just to make it seem like it didn't happen.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Well, supposedly they do have ET bodies. Quite a few. They had one in captivity. What did they call him? J-Rod? They called him J-Rod.
Didn't he date Madonna or was married to her or something?
No,
Oh, that
that
was
was called,
A-Rod. Sorry, that was
that was,
A-Rod. My apologies.
That was his
basketball
cousin.
player.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, kids. We have no proof of any of this stuff, and I'm not going to believe a bunch of cave paintings or carvings of primitive people trying to understand the universe around them without any concept of science or technology. The Dogon thing is not 100% locked in. There's a lot of debate about it, and certainly you can't go around quoting it like it's absolute fact because it's not absolute fact. We don't know what these people were thinking. We don't know what they saw, but we do know that a lot of this stuff happened right around the time of the Younger Dryas. And a lot of people, including people working in electromagnetics, have proven that when you do those electromagnetic things, it creates these weird shapes that look like stick figures of people with heads and arms doing this and legs doing that. And it's quite possible to believe that during the Younger Dryas, if it was an electromagnetic event, those things could have been appearing in the sky due to electromagnetic torids or whatever they're called. So they would see those things as dancing beings in the sky and call them gods. You can't have a story go around the world in a week without it becoming completely out of control and crazy in our modern age of communication. How do you think it worked out when they had thousands or hundreds of miles between them? They were walking everywhere.
That's what makes it so believable.
That people
And they're
changed
telling the
story
same
and embellished
story.
it. No, they're not telling the
No,
same
they're,
story.
they're talking about.
They're not telling the same story, Raven. They're sharing certain elements of the same story, but the story changes for all of them, like the spider people and the ant people that came up from under the ground and
The
taught
theme
everybody.
that somebody comes down from the sky
Except
and
for all the
teaches them
stories where
stuff.
somebody came up from under the ground. There's a ton of. You can't just cherry pick which ones match the theory because there's
I'm
a
not
ton of them.
trying to cherry pick. I only know of one talking about coming up from underground, and that is the Zunies.
There you go. Nerd
Talking
got
about
it
the
right
ant
there.
people that took their people down underground and saved them from the last cataclysm. I don't know of any others. Talk about coming up from up underground. Do you?
Agartha, Shambhala, the Hollow Earth theory, the idea that the gods live within the earth. There's tons of this stuff. You need to just. It's all out there. It's all primitive and it's all myth for a reason. It's unprovable. Because it's unprovable, it gains traction and leg for those who want to believe. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to believe. I want to believe. But
Maybe the
as I
evidence
get,
hasn't been uncovered yet.
well, and maybe the history of where Sumeria came from hasn't been
Look,
uncovered yet.
okay, look, Noah's flood. Let's take Noah's flood, for example. Okay.
Mhm.
There's a talk of this great flood in every culture. all around the
Mhm.
globe, not just that little area of the world.
Which
So,
coincides with the Younger Dryas period.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
I
So
mean
again,
But
it's not hard to imagine that there was some sort of great flood, if you will, and if that did happen, it shouldn't surprise you that everyone talked about it.
right, and I'm talking about these very same cultures all talk about these people that came from the sky, lived amongst them for a while, and then left and taught them a bunch of shit in the meantime.
Well, maybe there were people that came down, but maybe it doesn't mean they were aliens, and it doesn't mean that they
Does it?
infused their DNA with us.
Well, they and they called them gods. They thought they were gods. Okay, um,
mm,
gods with a small g. Okay, and how do you have primitive people with star maps? Lucky
citation
guess.
citation needed. You're going back to the Dogon thing, which is debatable, and the Dogons didn't have maps; they just had word of mouth stories.
Oh no, they've got this thing that looks like a. They wear it as a headdress on certain occasions, and it's got when you put it down and you take it in the sand and make it around, it makes the whole Sirius constellations. And there's the brown dwarf thing, the white dwarf, white or brown dwarf. I don't remember what color it is. Um, that's part of that whole. But it's a thing that they call it a star map because they lay it down and they draw it, they run it around in the sand, and then they.
Well, I mean, the Aztecs had pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, they did too.
Look,
So did the Mayans.
the Mayans weren't real.
Yeah, they were.
I don't care what anyone says.
Welcome to the show, Rebecca. We're just about to finish up. You should rewind it and catch the whole show. We will be back in 2 weeks to do
No, we won't.
4 point. We won't because
I'm going to be at ClerkCon that weekend. And trust me, when I get
oh,
home, I'm going to want to sleep. I'm not going to want to come on here and argue about woo woo.
All right.
I thought you liked arguing woo woo with me. Okay,
I
fine.
love arguing woo woo, but when I've done a trip and I got home, I want to sleep and rest and recharge my batteries. Plus, it's my first convention ever. There's a high chance I'll pick up some con crud from someone.
oh. Well, enjoy. Make sure you give Father Aaron a big hug for us.
No, see, that's
I
how I'm
wish I
going
could
to
go.
avoid con crud. I'm not going to touch anyone.
We'll definitely
Okay,
say
so
hi for
look,
us. I mean, I'll talk.
I'm gonna lay it all out. Here's what I believe. The origins of mankind are mysterious and strange. We have fantastic pattern seeking brains that have allowed us to become the dominant species of the planet because of our ability to recognize behavioral patterns and also imagine other patterns out of them. As a result, the more we've expanded our knowledge, the less and less and less and less we believe in sky gods coming down and teaching us stuff. Because people tell stories is not a reason to believe that they are true. They are just stories. There were liars in my hometown, there are liars on the internet, and there are liars everywhere. But we've all seen convincing liars can convince people of some really amazing ideas. We do have an absolutely ineffective and in error belief of how connected old cultures were because of our nonsense theories of modernity. We now are starting to see more and more that there was connections across the globe. There was trade happening all over the place because we're finding the residuals of it as we dig more and more and more. So those stories spread as all stories do with merchants and trade. They spread, but they also mutate and they change. But they always have that core origin point of the story. So were there sky gods? I don't know. I don't think there were, but there could have been, and I'd like there to have been because it would make things make a lot more sense than they do now. But more than likely, just have an overlap of societies, stories, and mythologies that have grown over thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years to the point where we are today. Maybe we need to stop speaking about these things as facts, but as theories, beliefs, ideas. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think one of the most valuable lessons we learn in school as little ones is the game of telephone.
I always thought the most valuable lesson was to not stick forks into the sockets. like the
Or
power supply.
pennies. Pennies are worse because
I
copper will ducts well.
I believe it or not, I once saw a kid take a key ring with 2 keys on it and toss it at an outlet, and you know what happened. So just
That
about
little
anything
kid
can
grew
happen.
up to be Shadow.
That
No,
explains a lot about him.
no, but I have been zapped on various occasions.
Me too. And I hate that copper taste in your mouth. Oh my god.
Well, you were hit by lightning twice, right?
Just once. I've been
What?
electrocuted multiple times, but I was struck by lightning once.
Really?
Yeah, it
That
sucked.
does explain a lot.
I was waiting for that.
It
I
really
was so waiting.
does. As I keep saying.
Don't eat the glue or Play-Doh. That's another good one.
But always eat the crayons. Semper Fi, Marine.
And with that, I think we're going to call it a night. Everybody, thanks for showing up and playing along. This was fun. It got to it started off rocky, but don't they all?
Wait,
Well,
did
but it's not even that. It's just that some of them there's just no conversation to be had, right? Some of them
Yeah.
are just like this, yeah, okay, and you know what I mean. But then some of them there's conversations to be had.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like kind of zooming past the ones that are just like no debate or
Sparky, are we calling him
base.
Sparky from now on? I love it.
All right.
What's
Well,
up, Shadow Spark?
Oh dear
all
God.
right. Well, thank you all
Yes,
for
Bert.
coming by.
Everybody,
Yeah,
thanks,
it was
guys.
very fun.
And
Yeah.
remember,
So 4 weeks
even though
then.
we argue, we're all still friends.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
And Raven really loves her woo woo.
If I should.
my woo woo isn't so woo woo. But save that for another time.
Raven, are you kidding? It's the wooiest of the woo.
Did you
You
not
are
see that
literally
thing
the
earlier?
queen of the
Said,
woo.
did you not see that thing earlier? Said 99% of the people, or 99 people do 100 people do the experiment. 99 get it one way, one gets it differently, and that's the one you look at. Did you not see that comment earlier? I
That's
thought that
the
was
one
brilliant.
I am.
You
I think I
live
saw
for
that
this
one. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, you live for this stuff. You love it. Accept it. Admit it. Own it. Sparky does.
Agreed, Raven.
Yeah, I own it.
I have to
Hey,
watch out for the reptoids, but I have cats to protect me.
I hate
but
you.
my little 4-legger here has been chasing lizards all month. He's absolutely having a blast doing it. I just don't look forward to the moment he actually catches one, eats it, and then
Barfs all over the floor,
And me, I'm
barfs
not
up lizard
what
face.
we're
and
saying.
you have to clean it up.
Well, with as much
And
time as I spend outside doing shows like this, maybe I'll get lucky to be in the grass.
Don't be in the grass. You might get lucky.
until
Thanks,
next
Burr.
time, this is me saying